live.
Welcome to episode one of the much awaited Trash Talk, the series where I go outside somewhere and pick up trash while viewers like you can call in to bring up any subject that you might want to argue about, a fun story, a fun fact you might want to share. The main goal is to keep myself and the stream entertained while I pick up all this trash. It's a uncharacteristically cloudy day here in San Diego. We've got a ton of trash to get through. There's no way I'm going to be able to pick up all this on stream. So I might as well get started. We're going to have a POV shot for this first one because I talk with my hands a lot anyway. and hopefully for future streams, I can work out how to get other cameras on here so that you can see my face as well. This is going to be a little bit rough. This is the first time trying this out today. Apologies for the audio. We're still working out all the kinks. I am joined today by my amazing co-host, Dr. Dino. Doc, welcome to the inaugural episode of Trash Talk. Thank you so much for co-hosting this with me, because as you guys can see, my hands are full right now. I cannot see the live chat. I can't really do much of the StreamYard stuff that we normally do, so need an awesome co-host to help me out with all the behind the scenes biz, and that is where Doc comes in today. Doc, welcome. You want to introduce yourself, tell people about your channel a little bit, and by the way, if you could, go ahead and put that link for people to join into the stream and to call in on StreamYard with anything that they might think could be compelling or interesting or entertaining to talk with us about. Doc, how are you today?
Well, first off, like Grayson already mentioned, link to join the StreamYard is in the description. Once again, if you want to argue with us about something, be it something in science or philosophy, or just want to chat and have some fun,
Yeah,
feel free to-
literally any topic is okay unless it's like one of those topics that will get you banned from YouTube type of topics or something that is boring. If you're you know, just keep me keep me distracted from all this gross trash and physical labor that I'm doing.
Right. As for who I am Dr. Dino, or Doc Dino for short. I run a small YouTube channel where I like to talk about science, and sometimes I counter creationism, stuff like that. And I'm also a working paleontologist. I I do a lot of research on dinosaurs in the Cloverly and Morrison formations out here in Wyoming, which is actually getting warm again finally. It's finally thawing out. So when the stream is over, I might go fossil hunting.
Yeah, so if anybody is not familiar with Dr. Dino or your YouTube channel, we've done a few collabs together. I went and visited you up in Wyoming this last summer, and we hunted for some dinosaur specimens together. On my, I have a video about that on YouTube about the Wyoming expedition, and we actually managed to find like what, almost a dozen sites of dinosaur specimens. It's pretty incredible.
Yep.
And I should say
Let's see.
that
Oh, go ahead.
you have been in Wyoming ever since then, doing some incredible fossil hunting as well. And I did announce in a community post, but I will say it again here while we're sort of waiting for some of the callers to filter in. Um, I will be returning to Wyoming this summer to join you for digging up some of these fun dinos that you've found up there. And I'm very, very, very excited about that, Doc. I cannot thank you enough. I mean, this is like childhood dream material come true.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're excited. And yes, I have not stopped hunting for dinosaurs out here in Wyoming. I haven't stopped doing my research. So I'm still here, and Grayson will be coming out later this year. Fingers crossed, everything goes well. And we'll be able to actually excavate some of my finds and hopefully get them sent off to a museum.
Yeah. And also, just FYI, since this is a sort of new streaming format people are not as familiar with, we've got a little some disclaimers, some messages about the super chats. So today By the way, we will have like a different co-host for different episodes of Trash Talk. I wanted to start out this first one with a good friend, Dr. Dino here. Also because Dr. Dino is going to be repping for a very worthy charitable cause related to paleontology in Wyoming that I want him to talk about. Um, but in general, for all of these Trash Talk streams, once I fill up these trash bags, the audience will get to name them, and I will write the name on a marker. You'll get to see the name. Eventually, I want a stream overlay that can display what number trash bag that we're on and what all the names of them are. But until we get there, we'll just have a little banner on the bottom. But the super chatters will get to name each of the trash bags. Whenever I finish filling up a trash bag, we'll just look at which super chat is the largest or the earliest, and we will determine, hey, that person gets to name the trash bag. So if you do
Hmm.
decide to send in a super chat to encourage me to keep going and keep picking up more trash, just know that you can name any of these trash bags anything that you want within reason.
Be
So,
it a
Doc,
be
do
it
you
an
want to tell?
ex, a political figure, whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, an ex-girlfriend, if you want to name it, uh, an expletive about Elon or Trump, go ahead. And yeah, they're for special for today's episode with Dr. Dino with us. You want to tell us if people put in super chats with GB at the start, what that would be going to?
Yes. Well, it'll be going to the museum I'm actually currently wearing a hat of, so I'll hold that up to the screen here. So I'm currently based out of the town of Grable in Wyoming. It's a little town, about 2,000 people, and they have a little museum. It's filled with fossils, artifacts, all kinds of history, and they're trying to grow. They want to become a bigger museum. It's on a road that leads directly to Yellowstone, so they get a lot of tourism every year, and a big museum could really help the town grow. So I am trying to help raise money for them. So, like Grayson said, if you do any super chats today, if you put GB, so two letters, at the start of any super chat, that money will be donated to the museum. Alternatively, if you want to just donate directly and you don't want YouTube to take a cut of it, there's a link to their donation website in the description.
Yeah, and yeah, YouTube does take a percentage of super cuts, so or super chats rather. So yeah, if you want to donate directly to the museum itself, the museum's website will be in the description with the donor link. But you can also donate to this stream, and any of the super chats that are labeled with GB at the start, I will then donate to the Gray Bull Museum after this stream ends, and YouTube pays me out. So yeah, all good. I'm excited because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like all of us probably have some excellent childhood memories at museums, especially with dinosaur bones. I mean, it excites the passion, a lifelong passion for science in so many children. So it's really,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm pretty passionate about museums.
Let's see what's the first museum you remember going to as a kid?
Well, I'm from Dallas, so I would probably say like the Dallas Science Museum, probably like some of my earliest memories. There's also like, I mean, I guess it's not technically a museum, but there are some like the Dallas World Aquarium is pretty a pretty amazing place
Hmm,
for learning about the natural world.
okay. Um, I think mine has to be the Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium. It's in a town called Dubuque on the eastern part of Iowa. I think it might actually be one of the big, yeah, it's one of the biggest cities in Iowa, which of course makes it a small town for most of the country, like 60,000 people.
Yeah,
But it was a really nice, well, it still is a really nice little museum and aquarium. It's a kind of a hybrid deal. They have a lot of habitats that show the life, that like all the plants and animals from up and down the Mississippi. They talk about the history. It 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 was a really nice place. I went there a lot as a kid.
that's amazing. Yeah, I'm trying to look how fast we're filling these trash bags already. Pretty incredible.
Yeah. So
Uh,
if anyone wants to name this trash bag, if you send in a super chat, you can name it literally anything you want.
yeah, and these are the heavy duty trash bags too, and we barely even made a dent over here too. I mean, I might have to go back and get some more trash bags on me. But yeah, you can see I found an area that has a lot of going on here. It looks like maybe somebody else already tried making a dent here and gave up along the process. But hey, that makes it easier for me. All I have to do is go up and close that trash bag.
Yeah. Ooh, Prixie here in the chat is bringing up the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. That one's pretty neat.
Ooh, okay, I haven't been. Like the Chicago museums are definitely very high on my list. I mean, the Field Museum, world class.
Yeah, the Field Museum is great. Aunt
But
Jer is
I haven't
asking
actually
why
been
you're.
to any.
Oh, good. Go ahead, Grayson.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was just gonna say I haven't been to any museums in Chicago at all, so that they're all on my list. But okay, tell me about Angers saying.
Well, Aunt Jer is asking why are you picking up trash? Is it court mandated community service?
No, okay, I probably should have given a better explanation at the start, but I have done several of these streams before of like call-in streams where people can join and talk about whatever they feel like, and I really enjoyed them, but I really hate sitting down in my room the whole time while I'm streaming. Like I want to be doing something active, getting exercise. Like I hate sitting down in one place for that long. So I wanted to combine it with like something else that I enjoy doing that's active, which I do like to go and oh, that's interesting. Look at that little sponge with some sunglasses.
We can't see it.
Oh, really? You couldn't see that? Well, okay.
Uh,
Well,
no, your camera is too high up again.
dang, I really thought that it was directly pointed at what I'm doing here.
Oh.
Uh, that is going to be one of the issues is the camera. Anyways, this sponge here was wearing this pair of sunglasses before I threw it in the bag. Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I
I'm
guess
finding some interesting trash for sure. So far, nothing really hilarious. Oh, wait, I speak right before these show up.
oh dear.
Oh, buddy, we are having fun now. But yes, so basically, I've been picking up trash as like a hobby now for a number of years, like at least since college. Um, because I don't really do sports and going to the gym is kind of boring sometimes. And when I want to feel like I'm being active, I also want to feel like I'm doing something good. And yeah, picking up trash. I mean, if you haven't tried it, you should. It makes you feel amazing afterwards. I mean, it's a very, very tiring. Like I'm going to be exhausted after this, but gives you a proud sense of accomplishment. Like, hey, you did something to make the environment prettier, get some trash out of the ecosystem. I mean, it's a hobby that I enjoy that I feel good doing. And so I figured, why not combine two of the hobbies that I enjoy, debating random strangers on the internet, and then
Mhm.
also picking up trash outside. So I thought it might be the best of both worlds. That's why Trash Talk was born.
Yeah, fair, fair, fair. Ooh, we have people wondering what the plants are around you. Do you have any idea?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know what types of plants these are. San Diego has like such incredible biodiversity when it comes to flora. This is just a grove of some kind of I don't know, some kind of interesting plant. I couldn't tell you. If somebody in the chat knows, um, I guess if I wasn't streaming right now, I could ask Google, but that's not gonna happen.
Well, let's see if maybe I can try and figure it out. Meanwhile, I will say once again, folks, if you'd like to call into the show, please feel free. Uh, the link to join is is right at the top of the description. Unfortunately, we can't pin the link in the chat right now, but it's right there in the description if you want to join. You can debate me or Grayson about something in science or philosophy or just chat for a bit.
Okay, well, I'm gonna close up this first trash bag here, and Doc, as the co-host, if we do not have any super chats yet, you can go ahead and do the honor of naming this little guy. This is a
Well,
Here we have our first trash bag down. Pretty hefty one over here. So, by the way, I have contacted a local waste management service that afterwards, like, I can go and take all of these trash to them. They can get rid of it. So I just wanted to make that clear. But this is our first trash bag that we have. Doc, is there anybody that you really don't like, or anyone that you would like to name this trash bag after?
well, I mean, it did have a sponge with sunglasses, so I'm tempted to say Donnie.
All right. Our very first trash bag here. I probably should think ahead and use like not a black Sharpie on a black trash bag. That'll be an episode 2 thing, but our very first trash bag is Donnie SFT, standing for trash. All right. So that's trash bag numero uno. Now we will start trash bag number 2.
Right. On to número dos.
Yeah, making a good dent here, I think, even though it doesn't really look like it. Maybe we dented that area and a little bit of there, but we'll see if we can make any visual difference at the end here. Oh, my trash bag holder came undone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the logistics of doing a stream outdoors while you're picking up trash using both hands to not manage the stream is well, it's a decision that I made, isn't it?
It's certainly a decision. Also,
Yeah.
Trixie is offering maybe you should get a silver Sharpie.
The silver would have been the move. That would have been the move if I had thought that through a little bit more. Silver for episode 2. The silver Sharpie is definitely going to be making a debut.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Well, I'm not
basically, in
having any.
terms of the things that you can call in to discuss anything that I talk about on my channel. So pretty much any branch of science, even if there's like some science news that you want to talk, you don't necessarily have to start an argument with us. You don't have to be a science denier to join the stream and talk. As long as you've got something neat that you want to talk to us about.
Yeah. I mean, hey, do you want to ask a paleontologist about dinosaurs?
Yeah, we both of us are always down to talk about some dinosaurs.
Pandora's Pinata is asking, are you up to date with your tetanus shots? I think it's a valid
Yes,
question.
yes, I am up to date with all of my tetanus shots. That is a valid question. I'm also, any trash that I will be handling, I will be having a glove to handle. So yeah, thank you for the concern. It's definitely it's a messy hobby, isn't it? Cool.
All right. Well, let's see. Have you heard anything new in the physics world that might be interesting? I gotta admit,
Yeah.
I don't keep up with physics.
Yeah, I have. So um there was recently this last week another JWST study that was estimating the Hubble constant using a sort of new techniques that's independent of the previous techniques of like supernova and the things that have given us the sort of Hubble tension. It's like the biggest crisis in cosmology. And they actually deepened the crisis. They got another conflicting value for H naught. So sorry to all the fine tuning people that think that these values are very fine tuned. It seems like I can't even measure H naught to be the same value whenever we measure it multiple ways. So yeah, this is a big issue at the heart of cosmology. It just got worse this week. But I personally think that that's really good news because whenever we make the most progress in science is whenever we start getting results like this, where it's like, okay, well, we know that to resolve this, it's probably going to indicate some new physics. So it's very exciting.
All right. Well, speaking of exciting, we do have our first guest of the show here.
Oh,
Welcome,
awesome.
modern
All right,
atheism.
Grayson. You
Yeah,
know me,
hey.
me. Hi.
Yes. So this
What's
is
up?
a friend of the channel, Juan from Modern Atheism. Welcome. Thank you for calling into the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Juan, you there with
So,
us?
Uh,
yeah,
can you hear him?
Yes,
yeah,
I can.
yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Is there anything that you wanted to talk about?
I just wanted to ask, make a couple of questions.
Sure.
You know, do you know about radiometric dating?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So one of the things creationists said is that one of the arguments they use to debunk radiometric dating is to say that we cannot be sure that the rate of decay of these elements that it has remained constant like during the entire existence of the earth, you know,
Yeah.
like what I
Hmm.
heard one argument in creation wiki. Do you know that creation wiki made a response to talc origins? You know what I'm talking about? Maybe
The wiki made a response to what was that?
talc origins.
Oh, talk origins.
Talk
Okay, no, I
origins.
don't know what their response was.
Okay,
What were they saying?
they were saying that at the moment of the flood, the rates of decay of these elements could have accelerated like by a lot,
Oh,
and
yes.
this is
Yeah.
what happened. And that's why we don't get accurate measure. That's why we get accurate measurements like hundreds of years before, thousands of years, but after before the flood, that doesn't match anymore. That's what they say. So what they say is that there was some fundamental change in space the dilation that caused this decay. You know, it's something stupid, right? But
Yeah.
I want to know if there is actually, do we have like actual proof that this is impossible? For example, if the atoms had accelerated by the rate that they need in order to get those dates, I think enough energy will have been released to boil the earth or something like
Yes.
that. I don't know. Do you
Yes.
know how to respond to that?
Yes. Um,
Yeah, so you're bringing
you
up
want
the heat problem. Yeah, Doc, do you want to do you want to take the
to?
heat problem a little bit?
I was going to ask if you wanted to, but I
Oh,
definitely
okay.
can.
But
So,
he touched on it a little bit, to saying, "Oh, hey, if you accelerated all these decays to get the daughter isotopes in the ratios that we currently see them, the amount of heat that would be released over that accelerated, shortened time frame would literally melt the crust of the Earth. It'd be like multiple
uh,
like
well,
multiple megaton bombs per square kilometer."
not melt, vaporize.
Yeah.
It would not. Oh, and he. I don't know if it was intentional, but he poofed. Oops. Oh,
Oh,
yep. I guess it was accident. He's
Sorry,
back.
I changed my headphones. I think maybe that did something. I don't know.
well,
It
welcome
happens
back. Welcome
sometimes.
back. So, yes, the creationists literally have no answer to the heat problem other than, well, God could have just miracled away the heat, I guess.
Yeah, I
I
guess
mean, it
that's
would
one
have to.
possibility.
There's no way to physically account for all of it.
And even
Right.
the creationist like doctors, like the actual PhD creationists, freely admit that they require miracles. It's only the undereducated lay creationists that you see claim that, oh, the heat problem's not a big deal, oh, that's been solved, oh, there's ways around it, when all of the actual PhDs will tell you, no, actually, we need a miracle to get rid of all this heat. There's
Oh,
literally no physically plausible dissipation
Yeah.
mechanism.
yeah, I
And
see. Yeah, I
as for why there's a heat problem, just radiometric decay releases energy as heat. So if you speed it up, you speed up the rate of heat production too. And it
yeah.
turns out on a global scale of radioactive isotopes, that's pretty substantial and it adds
Uh,
up really, really, really quick.
Okay,
Also, I want to
yeah,
make the point on this, right? Because there are natural ways to speed up nuclear decay
yeah.
involving really, really high temperatures and pressures, which means like, oh, hey, like if you wanted to accelerate all of these, like, yes, you're going to generate a ton of heat with all that decay, but it also requires a ton of heat and pressure already in order to get it to accelerate in the first place, because like you can calculate like the half-life of whatever random molecule, and it's going to depend on like certain factors and constants of nature, like the speed of light and various like Planck length and gravitational constant. And there's all these kind of constants that go into the equations for predicting when these atoms, like how long it'll take them to decay. And so, in order to change that decay without adding all this extra heat and pressure, you like literally have to change the speed of light or change the way that fundamental particles interact with each other, which is going to have a little bit bigger ramifications than just accelerated nuclear decay, right? And they never seem to want to
Yeah.
tackle that.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
correct me if I'm wrong, but while we can speed up the decay, it's by less than 3%, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It would
Very
never
small
be
amount.
able to accelerate to where you could get as many daughter products as we have. Like as you can see today, like on Earth, like you have to account for all these daughter products of radiometric decay chains. In order to account for that, it's like literally, yeah, you could not physically speed it up that fast to where you could get all of these daughter products in just a couple thousand years. It's still physically impossible, even when you're changing the constants of nature to try to force it to work.
Yeah.
And have you
Okay.
considered, what if Earth before the flood was a black hole?
So I also like to bring up the Oklo nuclear, like natural nuclear reactor when talking about this, because um, this is a geological site in Gabon in Africa, where it actually has naturally formed a fission reactor, where like because of the unique geology in the area, you actually have um, like a nuclear reactor, the only natural one on Earth.
Oh,
And
super
what?
quick, Grayson, you have to tilt your camera down again.
Oh, right. So the only natural nuclear reactor on Earth, and basically the ratios of all the daughter products are so precise for exactly what we would predict if it has been a uniform process that has not accelerated or changed pace at all for like 2 billion years. And the ratios are like exact for multiple different decay chains, multiple different like end daughter products, and they're all present in the exact ratios, literally different decay chains, all cross corroborating the same end date. There's no way. Like, I mean, the Oklo nuclear reactor is such a good evidence for the fact that these things have been uniform and constant for at least 2 billion years, and we have a record of that at Oklo.
Yep.
Nice.
Also,
That's nice.
we have our first donation of the stream. Left-Handed Jedi
Nice.
has gifted 5 Grayson Hawk memberships.
Nice. Nice.
These went to Echo Plexia Gaming, Barry Shawns, Renee Heat Problem Reborn, Ian Carl Ipsum Wing, and Ian Chen Official.
Nice. Nice. Way to go, Ian. Way to go, all the new members. Also, really, really topical Heat Problem Reborn. That's awesome.
Yes. And thank you, Left-Handed Jedi. And I
And
will note that down. Unless someone else donates more, you get to name this trash bag.
yeah, so Left-Handed Jedi, if you're listening to the stream right now, uh, being that you had the first and so far largest super chat, you get to name this trash bag that I'm currently filling up right now. Anything that you want. If you do not put forward a name, I am going to write your name on this trash bag, Left-Handed Jedi. So if you want to avoid a trash bag being named after you, you should give us a suggestion for what you want us to call this trash bag. So yeah, Juan, was there anything else, or did you feel like that pretty much handled the subject, or were there any other crazy explanations that you've seen creationists trying to explain away the heat problem with?
No, I think that's it. I think I heard once one explanation saying that maybe about the C14, saying that maybe the pre-flood Earth had like a lot more organic matter or something like that, but I don't really remember the details of it.
I
Like, it's
mean,
just speculation, yeah.
I mean, that would increase the amount of C14, I guess, but it wouldn't change the proportion, like the proportions of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's again only radiocarbon dating, which again it only goes back about 50,000 years and is like
Yeah.
cross corroborated with other independent methods that don't involve how much carbon is in the atmosphere. So,
And we have a
Yeah.
name for the trash bag. It
all
is
right,
Trumpy McTrashy Trash.
perfect. Welcome, Trumpy McTrashy Trash, to existence.
Right.
We're almost full too. This is crazy. This is much faster than it normally goes. But I also should say that normally when I'm picking up trash, it's not this freaking concentrated. Like this is a freaking mess that I found over here.
Well, thank you for cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Normally
We
I
did
like to
have.
go out to
Okay.
normally I like to go out to a nice creek or somewhere in nature like a forest or something and like go over a wide area picking up the trash. But for the streaming, I didn't want to go too remote, in case I have
Hmm.
connection issues. So I'm in the city of San Diego right now, which you know, there are a few pockets like this in it's such a beautiful city that it's just nice to clean it up. If you love your area, it does make you feel better,
That's
making
nice.
it prettier.
Yeah, that's nice to do. Yeah.
Uh,
Cool.
And
let's
Well,
see.
Juan, thank
We
you very
had
much for
Bree in
calling
the
in.
back room, but she. Oh, go
yeah.
Cool.
ahead.
So
Yeah.
you don't have time
What,
for more.
what was
Oh,
that?
you have time for more questions, or do you want to move to different colors, or do you have time like to more for more questions? About only if you want. I mean, if you want to move on.
You can ask. You can go ahead and ask one more question. If we still have a
Okay.
Bree waiting to be the next caller, then yeah, we got time for one more question.
Okay, you were in a debate, I think yesterday with Manmar, in breakfast tacos, and
Yeah,
you were,
yeah, I could not really forget about that one. I I don't think
yeah,
that I'll forget that debate for a while. That was actually my first debate with a Muslim, and it definitely left a taste in my mouth.
Hmm.
yeah. Okay, so I think we were talking about the first cause argument, and this goes back to philosophically. I think it's very difficult to explain why is there something instead of nothing. So here's the thing: we have a singularity. This is the naturalistic explanations. We have a singularity, and at some point it began to expand, and this is how the universe came to be, right? And all the matter and energy were in this singularity, right?
No,
But no.
no.
Okay.
I would say that you'd be very, very hard pressed to find one physicist on Earth that believes that today.
Oh, really?
Um,
Then
Hmm.
maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I got the basis wrong. So we have a singularity that
no,
contains. No. Okay.
there's no singularity basically. The singularity
Oh,
is not a physical thing that ever existed. The singularity
oh,
is
really?
the mathematics telling you that you can no longer describe what is physically happening. That's when you
Okay.
get a singularity. There's
Okay.
singularities in like fluid dynamics. And
Okay.
Hmm.
obviously, when you have a droplet of water coming out of your sink, there's not a singularity at the very tip of it. But when you do the mathematical calculations, you do get a singularity at the very tip of that water droplet with basic fluid dynamics. The
Okay.
reason for that is because basic fluid dynamics is insufficient to describe the very small scales at the very tip of that water droplet. And it's the same thing happening with our current physical models breaking down at the very high energy densities at the very early universe, and it
Okay.
starts spitting out these infinities and these singularities. But the physicists know that that's not actual reality. That just means that our math is no
Oh.
longer able to describe reality at that
So
point.
what? Okay. So what would you call what we had? Is this the early universe, or this is maybe a quantum vacuum or something?
I would just say the early universe. What we can
Oh.
for sure say about it is that it was much smaller, hotter, and denser than today. And I'm
Okay.
going
I
to go
see.
ahead and name this trash bag right here. It was Trumpy Mick.
Uh, Trumpy McTrashy Trash. And
Big
while
trashy trash.
and while we're doing that, if we have a moment, Bree has been waiting in the wings for a few minutes. Shall we let her
Awesome.
in?
Um, yeah, so we're gonna do one caller at a time. So, um, Juan, did you feel like we
Well,
did you want to
well,
wrap up your last question before we move on to the next
yeah,
caller?
yeah, sure. The question was, did this early universe, did it exist in that state for like a eternal, for like a timeless state, or for an eternal
Yeah. So
amount of time, or you know?
so we literally do not have enough information to say because essentially, like the very earliest thing that we can say with any certainty, right, is that uh, the universe is in a smaller, hotter, denser state. We don't even really can't even really say for certain that inflation even happened. I mean, it's a pretty robust theory at this point, but we still can't say for sure. Like it's not as substantiated as something like evolution or atoms,
Yeah,
but um, we can say certain things about this early universe based on the evidence that we have, but we really cannot say anything about the very, very earliest moments, and definitely not about the existence of any before moments or any, oh, has the universe been in this state for a non-metric amount of time, which wouldn't even be infinity. That would just mean like there are different phases to the universe and time. Like the passage of time could have been different, could have had a non-metric period of time before you had this expansionary period. I mean, we really just do not
yeah,
have the information to say with any certainty based on the current data that we have,
yeah.
which
Okay,
is like the issue. Basically, in the 50s, you had this conception of the Big Bang that starts with the singularity, but modern physicists generally just don't think that that is a physical, like nobody really believes that picture.
okay. I see. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much for
Oh,
joining us.
thank you very much. Also, okay. Have fun.
Yeah, hope you have a
Yeah,
great day.
thanks, Juan. All right.
Okay.
So now we can move on to our caller number two. Thank you, Juan, for calling in. Bree, are you on the stream with us?
Hey, yeah, I've been trying to ID your plants. I think
Oh,
maybe
yes.
let me get a better look at them though. It's
They're
not mugwort. I thought maybe it was California mugwort because it's so tall.
they
Yeah.
look like pink
Then I,
cartoon stars. They're really pretty, actually.
and then I was
Yeah, I
thinking
like them.
a type of bear grass because it has the stalks, but it doesn't look like any species that I can find. But Southern California is almost tropical in the
Yeah.
diversity, so it's
I mean,
hard
I've
to.
never lived anywhere else where you have like this amount of like beautiful succulents just like growing on the side of the road. Like I just passed by a gas station and outside the gas station are just like growing like the most beautiful succulent garden that I've seen. It's incredible.
Yeah, there are some beautiful cactus gardens here. I'm in El Paso, and there's some people
That's
just have
true.
like
Yeah.
amazing cactuses.
So
But
Yeah.
we have another super chat from Ian Chen Official for
Awesome.
7.99 Aussie bucks. Should I try to read it in an Australian accent or just read it?
I think that you should probably spare us from that, Doc.
All right. Well, trash talk, love it. Grayson is literally a genius. He rises above the dump. He is decluttering his life. I never waste a chance for a pun.
Wow. No,
Thank you,
that's very
Ian
true.
Chen.
I'm sorry for the sirens in the background, but yeah, that's very true. I don't think I've ever seen Ian waste the opportunity to make a pun. Like Ian's always cracking me up, man. He sends me hilarious jokes all the time. He's great. But I did notice that in all of those puns, he did not offer a single pun for the name of a trash bag. What's up with that, Ian? You have look, Ian, if you do not come up with a funny pun for the name of this trash bag that I'm filling right now, this trash bag is going to be Ian Chen. I hope you know that. So you better get on it. And people in the chat, you can help Ian come up with a funny name for this trash bag, okay?
Ian Chen, more like Ian Ben. No.
Oh, That's good.
Oh,
Oh wow.
and we
This
have
is a
another
boot.
one
It's a
right after that.
sock. Oh, it's a
Oh, it's
boot.
a boot. It's heavy too. There's a lot of
Oh,
stuff. There's something in it.
Maybe a spider.
dare
I
you?
hope there's a spider in there.
Oh, wait, Bree. There's a spider on the side of it already. Like right here. Do you see?
There's a spider on there.
Yeah, there's
Here,
a spider on the boot already.
I'll make you
Womp.
big, Grayson, but I don't think we
Womp.
can see it.
Oh, I thought I was big this whole time, Doc.
Oh, what did you want? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked last night about how I want my screen to be big the whole time.
Right. Sorry, you are now.
Seems like
Oh,
someone
okay.
dumped a sack of clothes or something here too. Is this just someplace people have just been dumping?
Dude, it kind of looks like that. I mean, I really like it goes all the way back there. I don't even know how people are getting back there to dump trash back there. It's like that's crazy.
Hmm.
Looks like we've
Well,
got a wet look. It says music legs 50% off. All
well,
right.
all right.
We could all benefit from that, right? A wet look.
Yeah.
What's
So we still don't have an ID on these then.
no, no ID on the
Wow.
plants. I'm working on it, but yeah.
Well, really quick, we have 2 new super chats.
Oh,
We have
nice.
one from, not sure how to say this. I'm going to say Turgipes, who says, "Please call the next one William Lane Bag," and that's for €6.
Cool.
And
William
then we have
Lane Bag, I
another
like
from
it.
Ian Chen, who says Kent Hoven's Sack.
Okay.
Hey, Ian,
So
that's
what's
two
that?
bags Ian gets to name now, right?
Well, I mean, totaling it up,
Um,
that's 11
yeah,
Aussie bucks from Ian Chen.
I'll total it up. Ian gets to name. This is now Kent Hoven's sack, and then the next bag, if no other bigger super chats come in, is going to be William Lane Craig's bag. Or, yeah, that was it, right?
Well, Turgite gets the name one in
William Lane's,
between.
William Lane Bag.
Yeah,
So
exactly. William Lane bag.
so the first one will be Kent Hoven Sack from Ian, and then
William Lane bag is next.
yeah, and then if nobody else picks one, then I guess Ian we get to name another one because
Yeah.
his $2.99 came in. Yeah, but surely we'll get more before then.
I'm really surprised by how quickly we're filling up these bags. I mean, this is a lot of concentrated trash, but normally I feel like it takes me like 2 hours to fill up 4 trash bags, and we're already on trash bag number 3.
Oh, hey, that's good, right?
Yeah. Maybe I should find I don't know. Normally I just like to go to somewhere pretty and like outdoors in a park or something where there's trash and make the park prettier. But this is just concentrated filth. And whatever these plants around me are, I hope that they're grateful because this is like this is a nice little haircut that I'm giving them of all this detritus.
Well,
What
where
if the
are we
plants
at
are?
on plant sentience? Are they completely non-sentient, or is there something going on there?
Oh, now this is an interesting topic, right? Because Bree, you, if I recall correctly, are a subscriber to the Gaia hypothesis.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that doesn't. The Gaia hypothesis doesn't necessarily involve sentience, though. At least not in the way I understand it. That
So it would be that, like all of the living organisms on Earth are connected as some sort of like super organism Gaia, correct?
right, but that's like saying like how like an octopus has all the different sensors and it's different in its arms, right?
Yeah,
They can function independently, but you wouldn't say that each arm is sentient.
Okay.
I don't know. Would I
I
not say
mean,
that? I'm not sure.
I don't
Actually,
know.
I will say that it has been a goal of mine now for several months that I really want to get an octopus cognitive expert on the channel and interview them about octopus consciousness because that is such an interesting area for me personally. Like, I just have really, I think people know that I'm really fascinated by the nature of consciousness, but specifically for like the mollusk lineage, if they are conscious, which I think most people probably think,
Yeah.
then that would be a truly like independent evolution of consciousness, which would seem to suggest that either there is some sort of evolutionary, advantage to consciousness, or if it's like a byproduct or like a side product of something that is advantageous, at least we've seen, hey, it's not just a fluke, it's evolved twice, because the shared
Hmm.
common ancestors of octopi and vertebrates that have consciousness is going to be like something that like doesn't even have a brain. It's like a neural net.
Right, the last common
Yeah.
ancestor between protostomia and deuterostomia,
Well,
basically, is what
yeah,
you're talking about, and
yeah,
that's like
exactly.
way
wait, are
back.
mollusks protostomes or deuterostomes?
Protostomes,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
yeah, and
Yeah,
protostomia there's some things where protostomia is more like fungus than they are like deuterostomes in some aspects, like their cell walls and stuff like that.
I always forget there's some deuterostome that you would starfish are deuterostomes.
Yeah,
yeah.
or
The crazy
sponges.
thing,
Something you'd
the
never
cra-
expect.
the crazy thing with starfish, right? Because every deuterosome is bilaterally symmetric. And then you look at starfish, like echinoderms in general, with their radial symmetry, and you're like, wait, is this an
Mhm.
exception to the rule? But it's actually not, because it's only the mature adult stage of life that has radial symmetry. And the larval stage of starfish and other echinoderms is bilaterally symmetric.
Actually,
Yes,
didn't know that.
and Z Frank does a great episode on starfish, like about
Oh,
talking
I
about
love Z
that.
Frank.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
My,
it's a new glove. It's got some little fur on it. Maybe I should
oh
swap
dear.
out.
I'm going to continue to try to ID your plants here, but it looks like Al Trucker's backstage, and I got nothing else for you right now. So I'm going to.
Well, so Al was backstage. He has since left. Up
Oh,
next is Ashes of Creation.
all right.
Nice.
I
Rising
Okay.
will.
Well,
from
thank you for calling in, Bree. If you do manage to figure out what it is that I'm surrounded by, do feel free to
Uh-huh.
call back in.
Yeah. Or I'll drop it in the side chat, if anything. All right.
Yeah.
Talk to you guys later.
Thanks
See
for
you
calling.
soon.
All right,
All
Doc. Who
right.
do we got next?
Well, before that, we have a $2 super chat from Logan Fisher saying
Oh,
Justin
nice.
Litio.
Oh, for the trash bag.
Yes, for a trash bag name. I'll go ahead and add in Ashes of Creation while I note that down. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Yo, you have a sultry voice, sir.
Okay, I have a thing for you, for your consideration.
Oh,
In a
wow. Okay.
world, in a world where the components of life take form spontaneously, even on asteroids and deep space, it seems as though the laws of physics themselves are programmed specifically to make abiogenesis happen on its own. If only it can find a planet where the seeds of life can take root. Could this
Wow.
be intelligent design?
Dude, that was amazing. Can you just say I am Optimus Prime for a second?
I am Optimus Prime.
Dude, you're incredible. How can I hire you for voiceover work? You're amazing. Um,
I'm gonna take a wild guess that this might be Ember with a voice filter because she's done stuff like this a lot before. But I could be wrong.
Who is this person? She sounds wonderful.
that's incredible. I didn't know Ember had an alt account. Wow. Well, I
Yeah.
gotta say, I've been on quite a tear recently in terms of abiogenesis. So I was thinking that, oh, maybe we got a somebody bringing up abiogenesis with us, but nope. Because I mean, we had the whole thing with Dr. Tour recently coming out and making 3 hours of video content about amyloids and my video on them, which was kind of
Oh,
crazy.
really?
3 hours of content to like debunk and respond to, and
You really got under his skin.
yeah, and I actually emailed him afterwards thanking him, like, hey, 3 years ago I asked you to make a video about amyloids, and at the time he had said, oh, I don't really know much about that, and but he did know enough to know that, oh, they absolutely aren't helpful for the origin of life at all, or there's nothing interesting about them for origin of life research. He knew that much, even though he didn't know anything about amyloid chemistry. But
He was clueless.
yes, he was clueless. And then 3 years later, he uh, gets a different organic chemist, still not a biochemist, still not an amyloid researcher, still not an origin of life researcher, but he gets an organic chemist who's published in creationist journals to come on to his show to explain why the amyloid world hypothesis is utterly debunked. And he says that this guy's an expert on the subject, and I just think that's so funny that after 3 years, the guy who claims to be an expert on the origin of life, James Tour, like literally, if you talk to any creationist on YouTube, they'll all tell you he is the leading expert on the origin of life in the world, right? And he had 3 years to research this response to amyloid world hypothesis, a big, up and coming hypothesis in the field he's supposed to be an expert in. 3 years, and he outsources it to some other non-expert organic chemist. And literally in the email where I said, hey, thank you for finally making a video about amyloids, I look forward to going through it. And he said, oh, actually, I just perused one of Dr. Truman, the organic chemist. I perused one of his papers debunking amyloid world, and I thought I'd just bring him on. Like, it was the most low effort, lazy debunking while also passing yourself off as like a leading world expert on the subject.
Isn't that his whole thing, though? Like, most of the discoveries out of his lab are actually done by his students, and he just pulls a James Patterson and slaps his name on them.
Yeah, he's got like almost 1,000 published papers. Yeah, like and he got
Wait,
like
1,000?
he's got like 700 or something crazy, and it's like, yeah, there's no way that he's writing all of these and doing all this work. Like, he's definitely like, stealing some credit from some poor grad students.
I mean, it's a time-honored tradition going all the way back to Thomas Edison. But details.
That's true. I mean, hey, that's true. That's true. And I do want to say that I do think that James Tour is a talented synthetic organic chemist. It's just like, that's not biochemistry. That's not origin of life. Like, he's not an origin of life researcher. And the thing that I thought was the most hilarious part was that in his video about me, he calls me a YouTube scientist. He was like, I'm exposing this YouTube scientist. I was like, I have never in my entire life claimed to be a scientist, like on YouTube, in real life, whatever. I've never said I am a scientist. So I think it's like the amount of projection is like between the two of us, me and Dr. James Tour, who is on YouTube claiming to be a scientist about an area of science that he has never published in. It's like, between the two of us, there's one of us, like, one is very clearly a YouTube scientist, and one is not.
Well, defensiveness and projection. The guilty tour flees where none pursueth or something. Although my devil's advocate side just has to posit that he may not be making those claims, that it's the creationists making those claims about him, and he's just not correcting them.
Yeah, that's another point. Because he does this like thing where he tries to play very coy about being a creationist. Like, he's like, he'll never call himself a creationist. He'll just say, oh, I just critique what the scientists say, and I actually don't know how old the Earth is. It's like those same people that are like, I'm not a flat earther, I'm just a globe skeptic. It's like, yeah, you're a flat earther, dude.
Arose by any other... Huh?
Oh, I just thought that you were saying something.
I just said he'll say he's skeptical about origin of life and then not offer any real substantial critique.
Yeah, and
the fact that the matter's life came from somewhere.
Yeah, true. Okay, hey, we're wrapping up trash can number 3 here. This is the one that Ian named Kent Hovind's sack. So this is way bigger than I think Kent Hovind's sack is.
I dare say, unless he's got a very severe disorder of some kind that he really should get checked out.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that Kent Hovind really believed in modern medicine anyway.
Right. He should pray over it.
Yeah, he should. I mean, look, if this is the size of your sack, you need to pray to Jesus.
Pray to some deity.
All right,
All right.
Kent
Inanna to
Movins
take it away.
Stack.
Well, with us moving to a new trash bag, then, is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Ashes of creation, or should we
Oh,
move
we
on
could
to our next?
talk about
definitely not
everything
Ember.
for days, but yes, definitely not. No, like Grayson said in the DM thing, the goal was to be amusing and vaguely science related, and so I thought that movie over being trailer voice thing would be the funniest way to do things.
You were correct. You definitely had me dying.
Alrighty, I'll let you get back to it and catch you later.
Thanks for
Thanks,
joining
not
us.
Ember.
All right. Well, our next caller is a little more colorful. It is Atheist Junior. Hello, sir.
Oh
Hello.
ho. Hey,
Hello.
AJ. Thanks for
Hey, how's it
joining
going?
us.
Yeah. So,
By the way, I wanted to mention like some of the friends of the channel that are calling in, like AJ, like definitely not Ember that we just had, like Modern Atheism. Like the plan for these trash talks, right, is to like have a rotating cadre of co-hosts. So yeah, you're all welcome to be co-hosts to future episodes of Trash Talk.
If
cool.
you're interested.
I'd be happy to take you up on that.
So
Yeah.
AJ, what were you calling in about today?
Well, I was wondering if you had seen this paper from a study at the University of Arizona that's totally they've totally debunked everything about the accepted ideas about abiogenesis. Well, not really. It just says that like the sequence that in which amino acids were incorporated to the genetic code is different from the widely accepted model, and basically like smaller amino acids were favored early on, while larger and more complex ones were added later, and amino acids that bind to metals were incorporated earlier than previously thought.
What's the date of this?
It's November 2024.
No, okay. I didn't hear
Or
about this
December.
study. No, I
Yeah.
haven't heard about this
December
study
12th.
yet. So you're saying that what was their methodology? Like, how did they determine? Because usually, I mean, the simplest amino acids like glycine are viewed as being like the most prebiotically common or whatever, because those are just like, it's really the simplest one. So there's been some ideas about which amino acids would have been the most prebiotically common, but I haven't seen any study that is that recent on it, and so I would be curious about what their methodology was.
Well, I'll read a paragraph from this article. It says the team used a new method to analyze sequences of amino acids across the tree of life all the way back to Luca, a hypothesized population of organisms that lived around 4 billion years ago and represents the shared ancestor of all life on Earth today. Unlike previous studies, which used full-length protein sequences, they focused on protein domains and shorter stretches of amino acid.
I think I found the original paper they're citing.
I can put the link for Doc.
Yeah,
That'd
that'd be
be
cool.
appreciated.
Also,
yeah,
I was
the
gonna say
December-
I
okay.
did the last study that I saw about Luca from 2024 was doing this sort of similar analysis. So we might be talking about the same study. The major finding that I took away from that study that I'm thinking of, which could be the same one, was that they found that a lot of the genes for like primitive immune systems would have been present in Luca, which was a pretty mind-blowing
So-
idea, right? That like way back, like, maybe like approaching 4 billion years ago, that thing still needed an immune system to fight off infections from other things trying to infect it with disease.
So
That
I'm
makes
Isn't that
sense.
I'm looking
mind-blowing?
at the publication itself right now. And so this is from a section they have before the abstract, which is a little weird, but I don't know how Origin of Life stuff works. They're
Some
specifically looking.
some papers will have a little abstract.
You're cutting out
Whoa,
really,
we got a book.
Grayson.
And
I was
what?
saying we got a whole ass book, Gulf Between Two Wars by Bernard Darwin.
Okay.
Can y'all
Well,
see
Better
me?
burn it.
here,
We can
so
hear you.
yep, can hear you again.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
coming
good.
from the paper itself, they're basically they're proposing a different order of recruitment of amino acids in, I guess, early gene codes than previously thought. Their research suggests that metal binding and sulfur containing amino acids uh, joined the joined the genetics earlier than we thought, and that could have been
Okay.
extra to ancient life.
Well, what I
Um,
personally found interesting here was they were talking about genetic codes that came before DNA and RNA that we don't know about. We don't know what they were like.
yeah, I mean, there's like tons of different opportunities for some sort of information storage from other chemicals that are not nucleic acids before like DNA and RNA took over the central dogma. But that's still really interesting. I think it makes sense, right? That um, there's so much chemistry that can be catalyzed by metal ions that if you have early molecular systems that are able to better coordinate those metal ions because their parts have better affinities for binding with them, then that would make sense that kind of opens the corridor for much more you know potentially complex and useful chemistry. So I think their findings make sense to me, at least. But
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
like
you'd
an
probably be
important
interested
point.
in, or sorry, you'd probably get a kick out of reading this later.
Yeah, definitely save the link for me, or AJ send me the link on a
Yeah, I'll
DM or
text it
something.
to you. Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, because I definitely want to read it. I mean, you guys know abiogenesis is one of my favorite areas, and I have thought about um, there's a ton of non-canon amino acids. I mean, there's like over 200 different varieties of amino acids, and our bodies only use 20 of them. So
Hmm.
there's not really a particular reason why you should think like that early life was only using the 20 that we're using today. It could have, basically the 20 that we're using today could be more efficient now to use, but again, there's a lot of different types of chemistries that would be available um, based on all the different types of non-standard amino acids that will be present in this. A couple months ago, that NASA brought back a first sample from like an actual asteroid where they went out to the asteroid Bennu and they took the sample themselves that never fell to Earth. So there's like zero chance of ever contaminating or whatever. And they found, I think, 33 different types of amino acids on that meteorite. So much more than the standard 20.
I think I remember hearing about that.
Grayson, I have
Also,
Yeah, it was a
really,
a
super cool.
proposition for you.
Are these
I have a
handcuffs?
proposition for you, Grayson, for a startup
Yeah.
that we could make, that we could a science startup that we could start together. And you'll have to let me know. And basically, the idea is that we build rockets and we go out into space and try and basically lasso an asteroid that has like $3 billion worth of gold on it, and then bring it back to
Uh-huh.
Earth and just get really rich.
Okay.
What-
If
like
you can secure the seed funding for that, count me in.
All right.
all right. Super quick. We have another super chat from Ian Chen.
Nice.
Oh, wait,
Thank you,
and
Ian.
then we have another one from Captive Desk.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
from Ian Chen, I think referring to Kent Hovind's big sack. Why do you think he needs so many wives? He has to empty the sack. Sorry, that was utter trash talk.
Poor Sandra.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta say, like, I really did like Sandra. Like whenever I went
Yeah.
to Dinosaur Adventureland, like she seemed like a nice, honest person. She's just like has had a really difficult life and turned to religion for like because of her life experiences and stuff, and somehow didn't really see Kent Hovind for who he is until, a couple weeks ago, I guess. But
Oh,
she seemed like a
did
good
they
person, and
finally break up?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
you didn't hear about that?
No, I don't keep up with the Kent gossip.
I forget that normal people don't follow Kent Hovind religiously.
Yeah, well, basically, like whenever I visited them, like that was over a year ago, I think last January. Um, I just felt really bad for Sandra's daughter having to grow up with without anybody like around her, like her age, just being isolated at Dinosaur Adventureland with Kent Hovind. Got to be one of the worst possible childhoods, like, and so I'm just really glad that they got out and she gets to be
Well,
like more normal and not have to be around Kent Hovind all day.
I think Kent wanted to try and send her off to some like boot camp thing.
Oh man.
Jeez.
I
How
Yeah,
that always works.
can only imagine what boot camp Kent Hovind thinks to send a daughter. Like, oh god.
Oh dear. Well,
Yeah, that's
we
awful.
did have another super chat, which I will read out really quick. So from Captive Desk, GB, thanks for all you do, Grayson and Doc. Well, thank you, Captive Desk, and that also marks our first official donation for the Grable Museum, which
Hell yeah.
we've been going for about an hour now.
I was just
Yes.
about to remind people that if you put GB at the start of your super chat, that will be a donation to the Gray Bull Museum, which is a local museum in Wyoming that's been super awesome and helpful for some of the local paleontology that both Doc and I really care about in that area. Also,
Yep.
Captain Desk, you get this cool Chili's cup as a reward. Congratulations.
Kind of does look
Let
like
me
a
know
cool cup.
let me know where I should mail this to you. Or if you'd like, I could also send you 3 eggs.
dinosaur eggs.
Yes.
I don't know what kind of eggs they are, but sure.
I've been listening to
Also,
the audiobook for Jurassic Park recently.
Ooh.
And one of the cool things in that is that they find just a chip of an egg, and just from the width of it and like the coloring, they can tell that it's from the width of it, they can tell that it's a huge egg, and they know that it's not like from a bird. They know that it's like from a dinosaur. And I just
Wait,
thought that
you're
was
saying that
Yes.
from just the width alone, they can tell that it's huge.
Well, it's
yes,
it's the
Wow,
yes,
it's the thickness
incredible.
and the curve of the eggshell,
right,
which
yeah,
is the
exactly.
thing. And okay, I'm not going to spoil it for you, AJ, but a really great scene is coming up, and I hope the reader does it justice because it's fabulous. One of the best horror scenes I have ever read.
The
So
last part I was on was when the guy falls out of the tree. He's in the car, and because the T-Rex like launches the Jeep up into the tree, and he's like, falling out
okay,
of it.
that's after.
Okay.
Well then, I guess not a spoiler then. I don't know. Should I give spoilers for a 35-year-old book now? Jesus.
I
Well, the movie,
mean,
everyone's
if
seen the movie.
you,
Not everyone
yeah,
has
I
read the
was about
book.
to say, if you're on this channel, you haven't seen Jurassic Park. I mean, like, you can spoil Jurassic Park, dogs.
Okay. Highly recommended to read the book. There's some things that are kind of wonky with it. It's not up to date science anymore, but it's still a really amazing read. So there's a scene in the book where they figure out that the dinosaurs have been breeding.
Yes. Yeah.
And somehow Michael Crichton manages to make a spreadsheet terrifying.
Yeah, it's like a computer updating, and
Yes.
the guy narrating it did do a good job. I remember that now. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. But how it works is they had a computer system at the parks to track how many dinosaurs there were, but it only counted up to the expected number of each species. So, like, it would count for 38 compies and 20 Maiasaura, and then it would stop. So Ian Malcolm tells the computer guys to increase the total number of dinosaurs by 1, and they get an extra compy. 3, they get more compies. And then just set the limit to 100 higher than you think it should be. and it comes out to a couple extra of a bunch of the herbivores, like 30 extra compies, and 30 extra velociraptors.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, that's
beautiful.
not what you want.
Because they were convinced
Wait,
that
wait.
it was impossible for them to be breeding.
Yes, so they
Wait.
never searched for a higher number.
Mhm.
So in the books, there's still velociraptors instead of like Deinonychus or a larger raptor, even in the books?
Yeah, because Michael Crichton was following a certain book that synonymized Velociraptor and Deinonychus. It wasn't really accepted at the time, but he wasn't a paleontologist. He didn't know.
Wow. I honestly, this whole time, thought that that was a decision from the script writers of the movie, that Deinonychus just wasn't a cool enough sounding name for the movie, and Velociraptor is just a much cooler name.
No, that was Crichton. Crichton thought Velociraptor sounded
Okay.
cooler, which
Well, I mean,
I
he is
disagree with,
correct.
but
What's that?
I disagree with that opinion. But
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Hey, look, we finally found something that Doc and I can debate on.
Deinonychus, the
Yeah.
terrible claw. That's better than Speedy Thief.
Look, when I say something sounds cool, you know my stance. One of my favorite dinosaurs of all time is Maip Macrothorax, which I think sounds really, really stupid. Maip, but when you look at what Maip means and how it's based on like a mythological creature, like that kills with cold wind or whatever it is, like it's super badass. But just the actual phonetic sound, Maip, I still sound like it's like the knights who say "neep" from Monty Python, you know?
I mean, fair. And
Like
actually, an
it sounds
alternative
dumb.
translation for you, since the name officially means something like the chill wind of death that kills with a scream, and
Yeah,
then the
so cool.
species name is Big Thorax.
Oh ho,
Uh,
hello, Tiffany.
um, you could call it the Busty Banshee.
The huh? Huh? What was that? You're
You
saying
could
that
translate Maip Macrothorax as the Busty Banshee.
okay. Okay. I don't know what to do with that information now, Doc, but thank you.
Yeah. You could do a whole video about underrated dinosaur names,
Oh, I
That's
plan
true.
to.
like
And
Neovinator.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like I think Deinonychus has a cooler sounding what it means than Velociraptor, but just in terms of the aesthetics of just what the name sounds like. I mean, it's hard to beat Velociraptor. That's pretty freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Or
we got
T-Rex.
trash bag number 4.
All right,
Oh,
I came
number
prepared.
4. Let's see. Captive Desk has the naming rights, but I don't
Oh,
believe
I
he
thought
said
the
anything.
guest gets to name the trash bag.
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
It's the highest donor, and
Oh, okay. Dang.
And Captain Death did name it. I think he named it William Lane Bag.
no, that was Turgipes about 30 minutes ago. We've gotten the
Oh,
backlog.
oh, so I see. So Captive Desk has a bigger super chat, but he didn't have a name for it.
Yes, so I
We
guess
got
it
quick,
goes to
quick, Dave.
Turgipes with
No, no,
William
no,
Lane
no.
Bag.
Dave he's got to come up with a name quick.
Okay. Oh,
I'm getting
Ken
closer to the trash bag.
Dave says Ken Ham.
Ken Ham. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we got to get Mark Reed in here. But thanks for having me on, Grayson. Hey,
Yeah,
Doc.
thanks AJ for calling in for
Thanks for joining us.
the inaugural trash talk here. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you can co-host one of these up. We got 4 trash bags now. That's pretty good. Let's see. Do you guys notice? I don't even know if there's any dent. Honestly, there's so
No,
much
I
freaking
can
trash
tell.
here.
See,
I've been
there's a
watching
Okay.
since
difference.
the beginning.
There's
I
definitely
can
a
tell the
difference.
difference. Yeah.
Cool. And I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna steal a little bit of valor, and I'm just gonna claim this trash bag that somebody else filled up. So
Alrighty.
All
Well,
right.
I'm gonna be streaming a little bit later. I'm gonna be looking at some PragerU videos, so that should be fun.
Oh dear, I hope
nice.
your brain survives.
Yeah, and I ordered a new mic, so that's gonna be exciting. It should get here soon from Amazon. It's like an XLR mic, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice.
That's
Well,
dope.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
talk to you later,
I
AJ.
can't wait to sound. I can't wait to hear your voice in the full definition.
I don't think I'll sound as good as what was the last person?
Ember.
Creationist.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean,
I'll
I
see
don't
you
know.
later.
Like, I don't think anyone can sound that good. I mean, that was like professional. Like, I need Ember to do a trailer for my channel now.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, before we add Mark in, we have 2 more super chats, super quick.
All right.
From Ivan Tchaikovsky. GB, thank you, Grayson, Doc, and AJ. You guys rock, and we won't take you for granted.
That's awesome. Okay. Was that was that he didn't give a name for a trash bag in that one either, I guess.
No, he did not.
Oh well, what
That
was
was
the
a $5 super chat.
I still appreciate it. Tchaikovsky, Ivan, you got an awesome last name there, Tchaikovsky, one of my favorite composers.
Yeah. And then next, we have from Turgipes again. So another €5.99. If you need more names, Ray Compost, Dregs Kooky, Debris
Sorry, Ray.
D'Souza.
Wait. Hey, we gotta go slower because Ray Compost freaking killed me. Like, what was the second one? That's so good.
Oh, I misread it. Dregs Kokel, Debris D'Souza,
Nice.
Garbage Habermas,
These are so good.
Debris Strobel, Junk Turek,
Oh my gosh.
and then Waste Warner Wallace.
Dude, okay, look. I'm sorry, Ian, but you have been dethroned as the pun king on my channel. That was incredible.
All
And
right.
with that super chat, I think that he gets the naming rights for this current bag that I'm working on now, right?
Yes, and the
So,
name he suggested so long ago was William Lane
okay,
Bag.
okay, look, they're all great. Every name that this guy has given is great, but for this trash bag right here, I'm sorry, I'm going with Ray Compost. That is just too fucking funny.
Yeah, fair. Ray Compost it is.
Unless somebody else super chats more, but I don't know if you're gonna beat that name, guys. I mean, I didn't know what to expect with the names that people were gonna come up with, but you guys have not disappointed me. These were way better than I even thought. Like, I thought standing for trash was good.
All right. Well, speaking of standing, well, I was trying to make a transition there, but it didn't work. We have our next guest, Mark Reed. Hello.
I thought you were about to say
Hello.
standing for truth. I was like, Donnie called in?
Well, my submission, very related to that, standing for trash, is what was it? Oh, I've forgotten it.
Oh, we had you on. We had you in the waiting list for too long, Mark.
Yeah, it was like bin-lined living or something. Redefined living.
Oh yeah, we have to do
Rebin
some sort of
living.
redefined.
Recycled living. I don't know. I had something. It wasn't that. Anyway, it
Yeah,
was about
maybe
redefining.
like recycled trash. That's just not even a pun at that point.
Yeah, I just wanted to come in and wish you, like, I got up and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to get up and come on and wish you. It's fantastic. You've hit 5K. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Like,
thanks,
big
Mark.
congratulations. Yeah,
I kind
my
of
pleasure,
forgot.
man. All good.
I kind of forgot to bring that up, but this is also like the reason I started doing trash talk like this weekend was because earlier this week I hit 5,000 subscribers. So thanks for reminding me, Mark. I'm
Yeah,
like, this is
man.
kind of a celebration stream.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
awesome. It's wonderful, and it's been so good to watch you go. On a bit of more of the serious note, what I want to know, and I heard you say this recently, and I want to talk to you about it. So
Yeah.
I hope you're ready for it. You
Okay.
said that you were a moral you're a moral emotivist.
Yes.
So why ought you be picking up rubbish?
Okay, good. This is a good question, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, I want to start off by saying I personally consider like the questions of like ethics and moral systems to be one of my weaker areas of knowledge. Like,
Uh-huh. Oh, I know.
I definitely I think of myself as primarily like a science guy first, and then I'm like learning more and more
Mhm.
philosophy as I go on with this channel. And I've recently, I will say that Alex O'Connor influenced me on the emotivist position. I think that um, to me, it just makes a lot of sense of morals as being basically just us expressing our preferences. Um,
Mhm.
and in terms of bridging the is to ought divide, I mean, I
Yeah.
really just do that by basically just putting forward my moral axioms as, axioms that I just, I mean, I'm not even really going to attempt. Oh, wait, look at that. Still in the wrapping edition of the Journal of Clinical Oncology, like with tons of
Oh,
peer-reviewed research, still in the wrapping. It's like it hasn't even been opened. Well, I actually
Oh,
don't
look,
feel bad getting rid of
I
this.
mean,
I'm just
free
gonna
book, I guess.
put this in here for now.
you've got Robert Kennedy as your health leader, so
You
obviously
know what? This
that
might
deserves.
actually, yeah, this makes sense now. Thank you for bringing that up. I mean,
Yeah, no worries.
given the
No
current
worries.
atmosphere, it makes sense that I would find this unopened in the trash.
Mhm. You don't need it anymore. You've got things like vitamin
We've got
supplements now from.
what's that blue fucking drink that he has? He's been drinking this blue stuff that like literally dyes your brain blue. You guys know about this?
What?
No.
Yeah, no, he's been drinking this stuff that's like it's like blue methanol I can't remember the exact name of it, but he's been drinking this blue thing, this like this health drink. And they found that it like
Methylene blue.
literally, yes, it literally dyes your brain blue. So he's got worms and a blue brain.
Maybe it's good for
Like
the worm.
Okay.
I know, and he's like, I mean, oh my God. And I've heard so many conservatives being like, oh, you want to like take your health advice from like someone that doesn't even look healthy, like Robert, like RFK Jr. is like the healthiest looking 70-year-old I've ever seen. I'm like, have you heard this man talk
Hmm.
at all? Like he sounds like he's like a freaking necromancer.
And you can hear his brain, like somebody yank on the ripcord to start his brain every time he talks, kind of thing. Like I don't. Maybe like his fitness is fine, but boy, he is not what I would say to be a healthy individual.
The
It,
funniest
it
thing this last week, he was in a he was in the cabinet meeting, right? And they were talking to him about, oh, like what is can you explain the fact that your country has had the first measles death in like years? Like right when you took over, he's like, well, listen, okay, measles is a very common epidemic, and he just like kind of said like, oh yeah, people die of measles every day. It's like, no, they don't. But
No.
then
well,
my
not in
favorite thing,
first world countries, they
my
don't.
my favorite thing was after that during the Q&A portion, the reporter was like, RFK, quick question. Are you feeling okay? You sound tired. I'm like, dude, that just made me crack up so bad. He's just like, it's like, I mean, yeah, he sounds a little tired. He's just over there, like, literally sounding like a throat cancer survivor. And I'm just like, he has all these homeopathic remedies. He's like, oh, I'm gonna make America healthy again, and I'm going through all these, treatments for all my health. And I'm like, well, how come none of your, like, if your holistic homeopathic medicine remedies are so good, literally none of them that'll fix your voice? Like none. He went and he got like surgery for it like for his vocal cords in Japan, and I'm like, well, it didn't seem to fucking work.
Well, that's relative, really. You don't know how it was before. You know, he could have just been.
Yeah, I guess it could have been. And it's sorry, I was just saying it's like really funny because
I
every time he
do
talks about it, he's like, I used to have such a strong voice.
I do notice you haven't answered my question though.
Oh, right. Sorry about that. Okay, so
Oh,
I
you will be
essentially start
sorry.
with some
You
sort of
wait.
moral axioms. So I would start with some sort of moral axioms, right? Like
Which are?
suffering. Oh, look at that! The first needle of the
Oh,
day.
Oh, be careful.
Yeah. Yup. So yeah. So I would start off with some like axioms, like suffering is bad. We should try to minimize it. Things like that. I also like. I think I haven't necessarily defined all of the axioms for my moral stance because I'm kind of like I guess I'm less principled in terms of having a moral system, and I more so go on like, let me do what feels like the right thing to do in the moment. I guess I'm kind of loosey goosey about it. Like even when I go to the gym, I'm like, what do I feel like working out today? I try to listen to my body. I don't have an organized plan. So in my terms of my own moral system, I personally think that like it is good when nature is uninhibited to thrive. And I think that non-biodegradable trash, like plastics, like things that get into the ecosystem and prevent normal, healthy functioning of that ecosystem, um, such as trash, it's good to restore nature to a trash-free state. For one, it improves, even if only marginally, the lives of natural creatures. Um, it makes them like, even if there's not like a consciously aware effect on these creatures, it does overall increase the environmental health and help to rejuvenate the environment that you're cleaning up trash in, make it overall aesthetically look much better, which is like kind of minor, but I still think, you know, I still enjoy it. And primarily, I would say it makes me feel really good to do. I mean, if it didn't make me feel good, I might not do it. But whenever I pick up like all this trash from a certain area and I can actually see a difference that I have made, it makes me feel accomplished. It makes me feel much better than going to the gym. Like I feel like, oh, my body aches. I'm really tired, but it feels like I actually did something, not just stand in a room and lift a heavy weight up and down and up and down and up and down again. So I don't know. Maybe that was a really long, rambly way, and maybe you feel
Fair.
like I didn't really answer your question, but that was the most honest answer I could give you.
No, I just would ask, like, do you think that people ought to create axioms or subscribe to axioms and then do what they feel like makes them feel good?
Yeah. So I think that, like, I think that it would be probably better if everybody was not like me and did sort of start their moral reasoning by saying like, well, there's a little rat. Just saw it run out there. So if they started by saying like, here are my moral axioms. These are like the moral statements that I can't reduce any further. And then to deduce the rest of their morality, like situation by situation, from those axioms. I think that would be like, people would be more consistent, probably more moral if they were doing that. But like, I can't really ask that of people because I don't even do that. I think that in reality, the way that people tend to make decisions is more so based on their identity. So, like, I
But how do they
identify myself.
deduce their
I
axioms? How does one deduce axioms? Because they're the starting point, right?
Yeah, I'm saying like I don't know if I said deduce axiom, but I was saying deduce your moral decisions from your axioms. You can figure out what your axioms
Right.
are if you try to think about a moral decision and think, okay, why did I decide to help that lady cross the street? Okay, why? And if you just keep asking why until you hit some sort of
Mhm.
bedrock explanation, then I would consider that to be a moral axiom. So for me, this line of questioning, I think, dead ends once I get to, well, I just declare suffering bad, we should minimize it. If you ask me why suffering is bad, all I could say, well, I don't like suffering when it's to me, so therefore I think I should minimize it for everyone else. If you ask
Okay.
why, I mean, we're getting to bedrock at that point where I just have to assert as an axiom, we should minimize global suffering. Like, that would be like, once you get that to that bedrock, then I think that's how you find out what your moral axioms are.
So, super duper quick before
Yeah.
we continue. We just got a super chat from Ivan Tchaikovsky again.
Nice.
GB, next trash bag, much like his arguments, is made by Jim Bob.
Nice. Okay.
Jim Bob
And
creates an incredible amount of
that's a
trash.
GB super chat, right?
Actually, it's surprising the
Yes,
amount
it
of
is.
trash that.
It's
surprising how much trash arguments that man has.
Mark, yeah, you're the exact person that I wanted to talk to about this because actually, like, I'm really glad that Jim Bob came up.
Yeah, shoot.
Because I was supposed to be having a debate with Jim Bob this evening on Modern Day Debates, a 2v2 with me and Planet Peterson versus Jim Bob. And
Yeah.
originally it was supposed to be Taylor,
I saw
who I
that.
recently have that discussion about Abiogenesis on my channel. And then apparently Jim Bob said that he was not wanting to have a woman as his debate partner. And then they asked him, well, okay, can you
Correct, yeah.
find another debate partner? Because Modern Day Debate arranged it. And he just has like not responded and just sort of like, I mean, literally you can find the thumbnail for this debate on Modern Day Debates channel right now. And I don't think it's going to happen because we just have not heard back from Jim Bob about whether or not he could find a partner with a set of testicles.
So obviously I disagree
Well,
with
I mean,
Taylor.
that's gross and crass to start off with.
Huh? Oh, sorry. Obviously I disagree with Taylor on a bunch of things, but she's obviously got a good brain on her, like she's smart. Is Jim Bob just worried that a woman will look smarter than him? Even if she's on his...
No.
I do not know what Jim Bob's thought process is. He's probably just being sexist.
Jim Bob's, yeah, he's just being sexist. Jim Bob's a Eastern Orthodoxy, so he thinks that women should defer to men, kind of thing. It's very strange. He's just a complete d-bag, basically. But he probably can't find anybody that's willing to be his debate partner because just he is really obnoxious. And it would, like, thinking for myself, if there was an atheist that was that obnoxious, I wouldn't want to be their partner either. You know what I mean? Like, somebody on my side, I'm like, no, that would make me look bad just by association. So no thanks. So that's probably the issue.
Yeah, I was thinking about it last night after I debated that Minar guy, that Muslim Minar guy. I cannot figure out who is a more annoying, frustrating opponent, him or made by Jim Bob. They're both on that tier for me. And it was really funny because Jim Bob super chatted during that debate to like
at least
basically
he doesn't
poke fun
call
of
you
Minar.
names. Okay.
Oh no, he did call me names.
Well, oh, did he? I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said he called me like a loser, nerd. He said a lot of things about me, actually.
Well,
he said that I was a.
Like, let's face it, Grayson.
Nerd is accurate, but he was saying that I'm a nerd because I majored in biochemistry instead of aerospace. No, he said biomedical engineering is all losers and nerds, and the real chads in aerospace engineering think that you are dumb or something.
It's funny. That's the most aerospace engineer thing I think I've ever heard.
Okay.
Yeah, and this was the guy that was like saying, "Wait, you're seriously telling me that evolution doesn't have an Adam and Eve?" He was surprised. Like, he was genuinely surprised. He thought that in the theory of evolution that there had to be a starting human couple, a first Adam and Eve, like one first human man and one first human female. And he thought, Oh yeah, that is just a part of the theory of evolution. Like it was a genuinely shocking thing to him when I explained, no, that's not the case.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I want to say you did a fantastic job, especially it's really hard to keep talking when someone's trying to interrupt
Yeah.
you, and you did a great job. Did a fantastic job.
I mean, you have definitely experience in that department. I mean, Jim Bob literally,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think let you finish a single sentence that entire
Nope.
time.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
I
just
have a
wanted to
question
say,
actually. Well,
yeah,
Mark,
go
actually have
shoot.
some questions for you because I
Yeah,
consider like you've done a lot more debates than I have on like secular humanism, on moral systems, and everything. So I
yeah,
just wanted to ask you about your because aren't you also a moral anti-realist?
yeah,
So
yes,
I would say that like emotivism is like a sub category of
right.
moral anti-realism. So I'm just curious about why it is that because it sounds like you're not an emotivist. So I'm just curious about your own moral system, about like how you think that your ethics differs from mine or whatever. I'd be curious because again, I'm very
Well,
open to changing my mind on a lot of this stuff. I mean, like I said, ethics is not my forte. I just try to be a good
yeah.
person.
Well, I sort of, I think that emotivism is fine. So there's something called meta ethics, which is sort of not what ethical decisions that is made, but rather what you're trying to do or where you're trying to get to with those ethical decisions. So the thing about axioms is they're not
Ew, look at
arbitrary,
that.
but I don't really
Uh,
want to.
Ooh.
Sorry, Mark.
It's RFK's measles cure.
I think that was actually a part of RFK's liquefied brain.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
I think I could see the worm. I think that when you sort of start at an axiom, then you've got no real way to justify that axiom because it's like a
True.
presupposition that's generally
Yes.
accepted. It's just accepted as a starting point. Like maths has all these axioms that are just accepted
Yes.
as a starting point. So it doesn't really get to the why you choose that starting point. And I think I'm on board with that as being, well, I think there's other reasons that you might choose something as a starting point rather than just it's axiomatic. And look, it could just be, hey, sort of I want this, or associated with emotivism, like I just want this, or I feel like this is a good thing, or I want to get to this
Yeah.
place. I get that, but I think that and Alex O'Connor has sort of said, hey, like we sort of do these things and then we look back and go, was that moral or was that not moral? We don't kind of have a system going forward. We more do stuff and then look back and judge it. And so he's sort of saying, well, it just seems like we do what we feel. But I think that is more a feature rather than a bug. I think that what we do is that our feelings on stuff inform our thoughts inform our decisions and our behavior. So looking back, reviewing it and going, was that the right thing to do, is how we change going forward what the decision is. So I think that sort of for me, I'm sort of, I'm sort of a meta-ethical relativist. So I don't care why people come up with the well, I do care why they come up with what they want to get towards, but it doesn't really matter to me. And I'll put it this way, like right, so you're a moral emotivist and you go, well, axiomatically you said that suffering is bad, right? And so you want to minimize that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your meta ethics. That's what you're trying to achieve. And a Christian might say, hey, God commands me to reduce suffering of people and ease them and comfort them, etc., etc., etc. Right? They may agree on that axiom, as you call it.
Whoa, Mark, hold on real quick. We have a Monsters Inc. onesie.
Wow.
An entire freaking onesie from Mike Wazowski.
Really? Somebody
R.I.P.
chose Mike out of that. Okay, all right.
Somebody
Well,
chose
Also,
for some reason to throw this away. I could never understand.
well, it's not Sully. Let's if it was Sully, that would be a bit weirder. But
Hey, I don't
super,
know, man.
super big.
Have you not ever wanted to just be Mike Wazowski?
not really.
Come
No,
on.
no, not really.
I thought
Well,
this was
is it
every
like a
boy's
child
dream.
size or is it an adult size?
It is an adult-sized Mike Wazowski onesie that I just found. Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we get back into the philosophy stuff, two things. One, super chat from Yahooligan for $2
Nice.
California
Canadian.
QCA.
It's
Oh,
actually it's interesting. We use the same U.S. dollar in California.
Well, isn't
well,
it the
I
51st
always
state?
figured that, but I was never sure.
Most people
Isn't
just
Canada
assume.
the 51st state? I'm sure Canada's the 51st
Yeah, it's about
state.
to be, Mark. It's in the process. It's in the process.
That one's for you,
Actually,
Justin. That one's for you, mate.
most people just assume that that we use Gavin bucks or Newsom dollars, but no, actually, we use the same currency as the rest of the country.
Well, I don't know. People are weird.
Yeah,
People
that's
are
true.
weird.
Oh, especially California people are weird. This is true.
And then also,
I mean,
you have a new member named Tim. So thank you to
wait,
Tim.
wait. Did Yahooligan have a message in his super chat?
Oh, right. Sorry. Grayson Tax. Great show.
There it is. All right, that's
Grayson
what I
tax.
thought. Justin always has to pay the Grayson tax anytime I stream, so we just had to make sure that I didn't have to send the IRS after him because they are woefully understaffed right now. I don't think that they would be able to enforce anything.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah. Dang, we're like
you also have a new
filling up.
member with Ivan Tchaikovsky.
Nice. Way to go, Ivan. Ivan's been coming up with some of the best names. We're filling up this trash bag here. It's almost full, so Ivan's got the name for that one.
Yes, he does. The next one is made by Jim Bob.
Oh,
Yep.
wait. What about? I thought Ivan came up with the Ray compost and all the. He was giving all those names, right? Wasn't that Ivan? Or was somebody
That
else?
was Turgipes.
Oh, sorry about it. Sorry. Turgipes, you're the one that deserves my praise here, and then this one is Turgipes, and then Ivan gets the next one after this.
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and actually we could fit a little bit more in this.
There's been a lot of trash bags.
Yeah, we've got a lot of trash bags
you're
out
working,
here.
Grayson.
Yes, sir. But yeah, this was really, I do eventually want to keep working on my ethical system. The way that the way that I kind of have landed on now is that, like, I don't know of a way around the whole concept of like, eventually you just have to bridge the is to an ought by making an axiomatic, like, unjustified claim, because I don't know how you can justify the transition from is to ought. I'm interested in that. If there is a justification for that, I'm not aware of it. But basically, like, I think of it as the same way of like, well, I have a preference to where green is my favorite color. Just like I have a preference that nature be clean and free of trash. I have a preference that other people and animals not be in suffering around me if I can do something about it. So I consider these to be basically, um, preferences. So that's why I consider myself to be an emotivist. Now, if you disagree with that, I would be interested in what you disagree about that with.
Well, I don't really, but the question then becomes why like take that axiom at all? Like, why would you have that axiom? Let me hit you with another thing.
Wait, Mark, really quick.
Yeah.
Why would I have the preference of green being my favorite color? Like, I don't think that you can interrogate, like, that's my preference because that's the preference I feel, right?
Sure.
So there are like certain things, like, and especially with preferences, it's like, how do you justify a subjective preference? That's why I consider them to be axiomatic moral statements.
Well, you don't you don't, but that's
Exactly.
the thing. But an emotional preference if isn't an is. Right, it isn't just a case of it is the case that that's my preference, therefore that it's more. Can I hit you with something? So I see it as an if, not an is. Right.
Could you elaborate on that?
Well, if you want to live in a world where there isn't any kind of trash on the floor, then you ought to pick up trash.
Yes.
Right.
Sure.
So it
Yes.
becomes a conditional, right? And
I
then you can
don't
sort of go.
understand. I don't really
Mhm.
understand how that's different. Like, I understand the semantics are different, but like to me, if I say my preference is for there to be less trash, so I pick up trash, versus if my preference is that there's less trash, then I pick up less trash. It's like, what's the difference between that?
Well, you're talking about morality, which is the code of conduct accepted by all reasonable people in a society, right? So you're basically saying that it's my preference that the trash shouldn't be there. Therefore, everybody in society should pick up trash. Can you see where that doesn't follow?
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like I mean, essentially, I'm just trying to like look at the realistic. Like, I'm trying to be like a realist here in terms of like what is actually occurring, right? And like, it seems like what actually occurring is that a group of people express a preference for certain moral conditions. Like, hey, the British Empire declared that they don't want slavery anymore, right? They decided that they want to abolish slavery, and then they go
Mhm.
around and enforce their moral preference on the rest of us. I mean, I know that it sucks to say, well, hey, I mean, I'm not saying might makes right, but I am saying that might does allow people to dictate moral preferences on society. And that seems to be like just factually what occurs.
Well, no, you're talking about legalism rather than morality. So you're talking about they legally enforce something, and that's not the same
Um,
thing.
no, I would like to clarify. I can understand why it sounds like I'm talking about that, but I think it's more than just legally. I think that they're using their militaristic might to
Mhm.
I think I need to go and get more trash bags. So let me just stop the footage for a second, and I will continue to be here and listen, but I need to go back to the car real quick because I actually ran out of trash bags. I thought that for
Oh
sure I
no.
wouldn't be able to make it past 5 or 6. What do you say, Doc, real quick?
I just said, oh no.
Yeah, yeah. So the stream is going to continue. I just need to go get some more trash bags because I've actually been more productive at this than I thought I would be, which is actually a good problem to have. Um,
Yeah.
so
I. Oh, God.
where we were at was basically differentiating between legalism and what I'm talking about, because I think that
Right.
with a certain amount of militaristic force, it's not just that you're changing the laws, it's that you are actually able to influence the culture and the way that children are brought up and the kinds of moral systems that they're exposed to or like that they're indoctrinated into. And you can actually, more so than just changing the legal codes, I see in history the actual like force
I
being used
disagree.
to change morality.
I disagree. I disagree because the abolitionist movement predated the changing of the laws. I
Mm-hmm.
think you've got it backwards. I think that the culture changed and that then was reflected in the laws. So
Oh,
the
I agree.
abolitionist movement happened for a long time. They made a lot of noise. They did a lot of things. They were very,
Yeah.
very successful. And that changed the laws eventually after society's morals had changed.
So I think that it's both, basically. I mean, I'm not trying to say there's only one direction and it has to go from force to moral change and it can't go from moral change to force. Um,
Mm,
basically, I'm saying like in the British Empire, like slavery abolition is a good example of what I'm talking about because there's
mm.
an initially small percentage of people in the British Empire that are
Sure.
abolitionists.
Yep.
And they
Yep.
gain more and more political power, get more and more in a voice, and are able to affect more and more people into getting behind their moral movement. And then
Sure.
eventually, okay, again, the majority, like all of Britons were never abolitionists, but they got enough political power to where they could enforce abolitionism legally and like morally through soft power influence and stuff. And eventually you get to the point where people who used to be anti-abolition, they used to be pro-slavery, now they have changed the culture. Like it was through like a force, like in the Civil War. Like the
Oh,
South was
sure, yeah.
forced to make a moral change through actual like force. And so, like now you go to the South, you find, I mean, plenty of people that advocate
Well,
return.
one could
Majority of
one could
people are
argue it
normal
wasn't
and
entirely
very against that.
successful. Yeah. But I think that
Yeah.
it is
My
that
point is that
oh,
there
I
did
think
see a moral change. If I can just make my point, we
Yeah,
did see
you're breaking
a
up a lot,
moral
Grayson.
change enacted by force. Okay. Well, we did see a moral change enacted by force in the American South. That's my point. Is that sometimes it's like more complicated. Like you can have morals influencing laws, laws influencing morals, that kind of thing.
I guess so, yes. But I think the laws are reflections of the way societies are want things. Generally in sort of, you know, first world countries that have democracies, I think that's generally yeah, you're probably right. But I think that the societal change usually will precede the legal change because of sort of pressure from the constituents, whoever they are. We've seen
So
this
I'm
with
very
every
curious then.
single movement across the world, like, you know, the gay rights movement, the you know, started with the Stonewall riots kind of thing. Martin Luther King, you know, all
Yeah.
of these
I should
were
clarify. I
yeah,
should clarify. I didn't want to make it sound like I'm saying that force is the only way that you can change people's minds about their moral systems.
right.
I'm just trying to like, I'm curious, Mark. Oh, my phone just dropped. Okay, I'm curious, Mark, what you think is, um, like what you think is a way that people actually change their moral stances. Like, is it through rational argument? Is it emotional appeals? Like, what do you think that people actually make like decisions to change their morals based on?
People in general, yeah, motive,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, but here's the thing, Grayson. I'm not saying like, and I totally agree with Alex O'Connor that that's what people generally do. My question is that what we should do? Like, should we just base our morals on emotive
Uh,
reasoning? And I would say no, absolutely not. Emotive reasoning is why we've got this horrendous orange idiot in the White House right now.
yeah. Okay. So then, I'm basically just trying to, like, when I'm trying to think about why I'm an emotivist or like what ethical system I have, I guess I'm just sort of maybe trying to be too descriptive about like, oh, well, here's how I observe what I interpret to be like how morals are generated, how they change, and I come up
Mhm.
with this emotivist position. But I guess I never really thought about should I base my ethical system on how it
Right.
I think it should be rather than just how I see it,
Feel.
how it is.
Right. So
Yeah, that's an
what
interesting approach I didn't think about.
yeah, I am absolutely on board with you that most people out there are just using emotional reasoning to make moral decisions, but the people that come across with real societal change to change the way we look at society, they're not just using emotional reasoning, right? They will have very clear goals, like Martin Luther King, why he did what he did, and you know he outlined it all. You know, people that have these very, very serious thoughts, you know, and he was basing it on if black people were kept down like they were, there would be blood running in the streets. Basically, it would be a never-ending cycle of violence that would happen. And that isn't emotional reasoning. That is very, very rational way of looking at it. That, you know, it's bad for everybody, right? It you know, this is sort of what he came across with. That, and then he managed to convince white people, that it was not only bad for black people, it's bad for white people as well, all of these laws which keep them down, because it just breeds resentment and violence and all this stuff happening. So I have no doubt most people use emotional reasoning to come up with morals. Question is, should they?
So see, this is interesting because I'm actually not even sure if it's necessarily, I don't know. I mean, there could be some level of emotional reasoning to the appeal of like getting people to change their racist attitudes, like with Martin
Sure.
Luther King
Yeah.
Jr. or something.
Mhm.
But like, I almost think like, okay, there's a little bit extrapolating from the literature, but in the political literature, in terms of looking at why people make the voting choices that they do, and it turns out that, at least based on some of the data in political science and psychology, it's not what we would expect, to where they have some sort of political position, some values that they hold, and they look at which candidate most aligns with those values. That's what we might think happens, but that's not what the data shows. Like, the data shows basically they have an identity. Their values are downstream from their sense of identity. And the voting patterns that they choose are not who aligns with their values, it's who aligns with their identity. And like, especially this has been really well documented with Trump, is this process that has been called identity fusion, where even people that didn't used to identify as the same type of guy as Donald Trump is, now they do. They suddenly, you hear this all the time. Oh, he just says what we're all thinking. Oh, he tells it like it is. He says what all of us are really wanting to say. And like, they start to identify themselves with Trump, and like, they start to have a fusion of identities. And those people are the ones that are not reachable by facts or reason. Like, the only way to break those people out is to either show them that, hey, I don't want to be like this Trump guy, like, basically to break that identity fusion and say, hey, my identity of myself is unlike this guy. And that's how you really reach people in terms of their political decisions. So I'm curious if a similar kind of thing is happening with people's moral reasoning, to where like, they're not really aware of their moral axioms. They're just like, they're similar to me, right? Or they're just trying to be a good person. And in a situation, they say, oh, well, like, what would a good person do? What feels like a good thing to do? And that kind of decision. But maybe rather than even, I mean, that is emotional reasoning, but it's also, I think, based in their sense of identity, about who they are as a person. They're trying to make a moral decision based on what they think of themselves. If they think that they're a good person, then they're going to try to make a decision that aligns with that self-perception. If they already think, oh, I'm a piece of trash, then they have no problems making immoral choices, because it aligns with what they think of themselves already.
That's interesting.
And so I'm thinking, like, could it be that Martin Luther King Jr. changed people's minds by appealing to the sense of who they are, and by a sort of sense of identity fusion, as saying like, wow, like, this guy is like, they recognize his personhood in a way that maybe they didn't to other people of color, and they recognize a bit of themselves in him, or like a sense of shared humanity. And it's like, through that process of like increasing their identity umbrella to not just include only people that look like them, but if they can include Martin Luther King Jr. in that identity umbrella, then they can expand it to include people of color more generally. And maybe that could have been some of that psychology going on. I'm not sure.
Yeah, perhaps. I think that a similar thing could be found with Nelson Mandela, who sort of kept a lot of the institutions that the black people in South Africa hated, because he knew they were important to the white people, essentially. And he was an amazing guy who understood that at some point that cycle of revenge on your enemy has to be broken. Like, at some point, you've got to stop, or else it will never end. And yeah, no, that's interesting. I think with that fusion over politicians, though, that Trump doesn't have to be more sort of connected to the people than anybody. He just has to be more than everybody else, like all the other politicians. And that's not hard, considering how disconnected they are, generally speaking, from the average person. That's always been their downfall. Hillary Clinton doing talks at Goldman Sachs and stuff. It's so disconnected from what people see as relatable to them. So I don't think Trump is this paradigm of relatedness. I just think he's way more relatable for the ordinary person than any of the other politicians who seem, look at Chuck Schumer. Like, you can't identify as that guy. Oh, he's just an everyman of the street. Like, come on now. What are you talking about? Even people like Bernie. Yeah, I mean, I love Bernie. I love his policies and things like that. But he's certainly not that dumbass everyday, Homer Simpson, type kind of thing. Whereas Trump is, and he's stupid like Homer Simpson, and people love him like Homer Simpson. I think there's definitely something to that.
Mark, are you hungry for lunch?
Oh yeah.
It doesn't look that great. They didn't even. It doesn't even look like they tried to eat this meal. They just threw it straight in the trash.
Well,
it's like even too heavy to pick up with the friggin' tongs. Ugh, smells terrible. Anyways,
yeah, well, I'm going to take off actually because I'm really tired and I shouldn't be up. Like, I absolutely shouldn't be. But I had to come on and wish you fantastic 5,000, Grayson. I love you, Doc.
Thank
love
you,
too.
Mark.
You are awesome, both of you. I love what you're doing. It's just please give me more notice.
Yeah. So I am like, okay, I am super, super bad at like having a consistent schedule. But my goal is to try to consistently do Trash Talk Saturday mornings at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's like my goal. So I'm hoping to be back here next Saturday for another Trash Talk. That's my goal. So from now on, I'm trying to do like every week, different co-hosts, like different location, picking up trash. That would be my big goal. So we'll see. But you are definitely welcome as a future co-host for future episodes, Mark. Thank you for calling in.
I don't think I'll be up in any state to talk, to be honest with you. This was really unusual because I got up in the middle of the night and I'm just like, I'll just see what's on YouTube. And it's like, Grayson.
Wait. What time is it right now for you?
Oh, fuck. Don't ask me that. It's 4:00. I got to go.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Right.
Well, hey, we really appreciate you calling in, Mark. I didn't realize that was the local time.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just had a bit of insomnia, but now I feel tired. I better go to bed.
You know what is one thing that is kind of blowing my mind is the number of trash bags that have been thrown away in the trash. Like in front of me right now, there's at least 4 or 5 empty trash bags as trash.
Isn't that what you do? You get like a packet of garbage bags, you use one and then put the rest of them in the trash bag and throw them out. I thought that's how it works.
Wait, if what are all of those other trash bags even for if you're not supposed to put them in the first trash bag?
They're padding for the trash so it doesn't move and shift. Anyway, Grayson, take care. You're doing awesome.
Yeah.
This is just fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Doc. Thanks for putting up with me. And I will see you later. Good night.
See you, Mark.
And as Mark leaves, we have 5 more Grayson Hawk memberships from Ian Tchaikovsky.
Oh, heck yeah, Ian.
So,
or wait,
thank
was it
you very
Ivan?
much, senor.
It was Ivan, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Someone in the chat was talking about Ian, and I got mixed up.
That's okay. And yeah, for everyone, that's just so that they're aware. I cannot see anything about the chat right now, so like I have both my hands full. I'm not looking at the screen. So Doc, I appreciate you helping me out with being my my eyes for today.
I'm trying to help.
And I don't know who's in chat modding, but if we've got anybody modding the chat right now, really big ups to you. Thank you, because like I would be totally useless. I'm not even seeing the chat. So thank you for all the moderation.
Crystal and Yahooligan appears to still be lurking.
Amazing. Yeah, PC is the freaking best.
Yeah. Also, I just want to take a second to say I'm really happy to say we've raised at least $20 for the Grable Museum so far.
Nice.
We've had 3 super chats come in specifically for them. No idea how many people have donated through the website, though I hope there's been at least a few. We don't get notifications for those because it's not our site. But
so just to remind people, if you super chat with GB at the start, that super chat will go towards a fundraiser that the Gray Bull Museum in Wyoming is doing right now, which is a great local museum for paleontology, right where all the paleontology is happening, right near all those dino fossils in Wyoming. It's a great little museum. It's a great cause to help out.
Yep, they're hoping to.
They're trying to expand, right?
Yeah, they're trying to expand. They're trying to become their own actual big functioning museum, and I really want to help them along with that, however I can.
Yeah, I visited them with you back this summer when we were in Wyoming, and it's like a great little outfit, good people, some awesome local fossils, really cool little setup. So thank you everybody that's been donating, and I think we're like super behind now on the names of trash bags, aren't we?
Oh, how many trash bags are we up to?
One, two, three, four, five named ones, and then I stole a sixth one.
Okay. I think the next one is named Cramit Fullerton.
I think we're still on Ray Compost, or did I not name this one? Maybe I forgot to name this one. Let me see if there's writing on it. Or we named it Ken Ham, right? I don't know.
Oh yeah, there was one named
Sorry.
Ken Ham.
This is the first inaugural trash talk, so there's a little bit of kinks. No, this is Ken Ham. I got to name this one Ray Compost. I'm glad that that we caught that. So here we have our little Raymond Ray Compost.
Well,
Dude,
if it's
that's
any
that's one of my
consolation,
favorite puns.
if it's any consolation, I could definitely see a difference there. Like it looks way nicer than when you got there.
Oh yeah, look at that. We're starting to clear it up, so you actually have to go into the mysterious shrubbery to start seeing the trash now. I'm trying to at least get it to where, you can't see it from the street. But yeah, it's awesome being able to start to see the progress.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a $3 Aussie super chat from Ian Chen official saying there's only one Ian.
Yeah, there can only be one Ian in Grayson's chat. Unless there's a second one that comes, then there would be two. There's like some of these bulk items, like I don't know if I can fit in all my trash bags, but we're gonna try at the end.
Oh
Because
dear.
like this is like, I mean, this is not going in a trash bag. I don't even some of these items.
Oh, they just won't fit.
Maybe I could fit that in a trash bag. I mean, we got some bulk trash here. And recycling. Bulk trash and recycling.
I mean, you can probably just put them with the trash, and like the people picking them up will take them, right?
Yeah, I've got enough room in my car. I've got a tarp, so I could probably try to fit all of this. So we'll see. I'm not going to be streaming like taking all the trash to my car and then taking it to the waste service center. Like that's not going to be on the stream. So basically, want to do like a nice little before and after at the end. But beyond that, like I'll take a picture of all the trash at the end and everything, dropping it off maybe, so that you know that I'm not just like bagging the trash and then leaving it here. I think that'd be super bizarre, but just so you know, I'm not doing that.
Right. Let's see. I did visit the Grable Museum yesterday, and I took a few pictures. Do you think we should maybe show the people in chat some of what they might be donating to?
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
All right. Let me just get them organized here. Oh, wow. I'm such a good photographer. You can see me reflected in some of the images.
It's like your average Craigslist ad.
Yeah. See more reflection than the actual item itself.
So we don't have anybody waiting in the caller right now, right?
Not when I checked 30 seconds ago, and not right now. If anyone does want to join the stream,
I wonder where
the link to join is in the description. Right up there at the top.
I wonder where all of the creationists and the flat earthers and the theists, like where are they all at? I wonder.
It is kind of weird that we haven't gotten any of them so far.
Yeah, normally like they're all in my video comment section, like you got some creationists that comment on I think every single video that I put out. There are some creationists out there that comment on every single video to say things like Grayson's useless, Grayson's a moron. One guy said that I was evil. I'm just like, what? Where are all these people right now? When I'm like literally like, hey, you got something to say to me? Like, let's
Yeah,
talk
come
about it.
talk
You know,
trash.
yeah, literally, come talk trash. I mean, I'm giving you the opportunity, and all these keyboard warriors just want to, I guarantee you they're going to be in the comment section after this, talking about things in the comments. So, like, is Saturday just not a good time for Christians? I mean, I tried not to pick Sunday.
Yeah, it's not Sunday.
I
If
didn't want to go
there
with
are
Sunday.
any creationists, flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, anyone like that in the chat right now, feel free to come join us. As long as you're not a ass, you're
Yeah.
welcome. Well, okay, and I guess even then, you're welcome to a degree as long as you're entertaining and not too terrible. But
Yeah. I mean, you can be a little bit of an ass.
yeah. But
Like there's a certain amount of it.
a little bit. But for now, for the people who are watching, let's give you a little break from all the trash to show a little museum. So me being smart, I forgot to take any pictures of the outside of the museum. But I did
So
take
you're
plenty of
saying that
pictures of the inside.
we just all have to take your word for it that there is an outside to this museum?
Yes, the outside does exist.
Oh, but you don't have any evidence of that.
I suppose I don't.
Okay, go on.
Well, with the museum as it is, there's a lot of fossils, there's a lot of historical artifacts. This is showing some of the fossils and their shelves. Over on the left here, we have dinosaurs. There's lots of pieces of vertebrae, individual bones. They don't have any complete skeletons, at least yet. They do have a big old section of ichthyosaur vertebrae up here. And they have something that I both like and really don't like, which is they have this dinosaur femur half sitting in a plaster jacket, and it just shows how fossils can kind of rot away over time if they're not taken care of. Because this one has definitely rotted away quite a bit. It's really not in good shape. And most of the fossils in here are in good shape, but they might not be within the next few decades if something isn't done. Like, for example, and I'm showing the people on screen, this is a fragment of a sauropod shoulder blade. So, that's not a big bone on your body, but this animal probably would have been 50, 60 feet long in life. It was huge. So, this shoulder blade is huge too. But it hasn't been preserved really in any way. They don't really have the funds to do that sort of thing, at least not on a large scale. That's part of why I'm wanting to help them raise money. Because this really is a beautiful little specimen here, but they just can't do anything to preserve it.
And although I cannot see the screen right now, I'm pretty sure that I saw this with you last summer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's freaking huge, and I could definitely see how it could be at risk. I mean, it was I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you don't want parts flaking off.
yeah, and actually, you can see in the image I have on screen now, there are pieces of it that have broken off. So this fossil is falling apart, and it needs care. They just can't really afford to take care of it. In this image, you can see some fossils that have been cleaned and they have been preserved, but those were all done by volunteers, other paleontologists like me who stopped by the museum and had a day or two to spare cleaning up the specimens. That's not very common, unfortunately. They need a lot more a lot more preparation and conservation on these fossils. Super quick, we have $5 again from Ivan Tchaikovsky.
Dude, hell yeah, Ivan.
Question for Grayson and Doc. What are your favorite Cambrian or Precambrian organisms?
Oh, dude, I've got some thoughts on this one. I know that you're more of a dinosaur guy, but the two of us have talked about this before. And in terms of like my favorite, oh, by the way, is everybody can see my screen big again?
I will put you back big on the screen.
Yeah. So we talked
Oh
about
no, more trash.
I know it's shocking, more trash, but oh wow, this one's getting really heavy here. This trash bag. Um, so we had talked about our favorite uh our favorite extinct animals, and the trends for my favorite extinct animals are I really like the ones that are like terrifying dragon monsters, and I really like the ones that are super weird space aliens, and then I also like the cute
Mhm.
ones. Those are like my three archetypes of extinct animals that I like. So like obviously like T-Rex and pliosaurs and all those are the scary dragon ones, and Maip, like we already talked about. And then the weird bug monsters are things like Anomalocaris in the Cambrian, the super crazy like Omnidens, like the Lobopodians, the
Mhm.
Trilobites, Morella, like some of the crazy ones that look like the angel versions of Trilobites. You know, like they're like the Trilobites with wings almost looking things like Morella. Like some of those are just so freaking cool to me. Like I mean, have you seen some of the reconstructions of those Lobopodians? They are
Yeah, they're
freaking,
weird.
they're
They're really
so
weird.
weird. They are so weird. Like I love the Cambrian Lobopodians. And like we still don't have a great fossil record of them, like because, you know, they're like velvet worms, not mostly soft parts, except for like their very strange characteristic mouths. But from some of the mouths that we have of Omnidens, it's like this thing actually could have been the largest apex predator in the Cambrian, like based on the estimates from its like mouth. And it's like, holy shit, like that is a real Cambrian monster. Speaking of which, we have a new trash bag. Did Doc, do you remember what we're naming this one? What's the most recent highest
Um,
super chat
I
that we
think
haven't?
Kramit Fullerton or made by Jim Bob.
Right. The Grant Fullerton, right? That he wanting to name the trash bag after himself. I'm just gonna write "made by Jim Bob" right here for this one. Then maybe the next one we can do Graham if he wants "made by Jim Bob."
Oh, also, apparently Logan Fisher in the chat has been to Grable. He
That's
says it reminded
awesome.
him of Radiator Springs.
Yeah, I totally see that. Like from
Yeah,
Cars, right?
yeah,
I mean, that's surprising. Grayble's a pretty small little Wyoming town.
yeah. I mean, Radiator Springs had to be based off of something. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. As for my favorite Precambrian organism, I really like Sprigina. It's this
Ooh.
weird thing that we're not sure what it is, which goes for a lot of Precambrian fossils. It
Well, I think
might be the ancestor to trilobites, though.
it okay, certainly. So I brought up Sprigina in my video about the Cambrian explosion, I think. And I often will bring up Sprigina specifically whenever creationists will tell me that, oh, like there's just like no precedent for trilobites, and then all of a sudden they just appear with absolutely no precedent at the Cambrian explosion. And like, yes, the evolutionary relationship between Sprigina and trilobites is definitely questionable. I think technically its class is Proarticulata, although like the entire designation of Proarticulata is a little bit questionable. Um,
Hmm.
but the the point is that like if you just a lay person, you're not a paleontologist, and you just look at a fossil of Sprigina, it looks like a trilobite. Like just visually, it looks like a trilobite without eyes. Like it's a much more primitive, simple looking one, and it's
Hmm.
like the for paleontologists, it looks less like a trilobite because if you look at it, the symmetry is not like bilateral; it's like staggered. And so, like this, it's a totally
Yeah.
different type of body symmetry than trilobites have, and they don't have the typical three bodily segmentations of a trilobite. So it's like there are certain characteristic features that it is totally lacking. But just roughly visually speaking, the thing looks like a pretty strong precedent for trilobites.
Yeah, and I'm excited for us to finally figure out what it is if we ever do.
Have you seen any of the other examples of Proarticulata? Like they all look kind of like that. None of them look as much as a trilobite as Sprigina does, but they all look pretty trilobite-like, and they're all from the Ediacaran period before the Cambrian. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
we don't really know. Like the trilobite could have evolved from something that looked way more like a worm, and it could have just been a case of like kind of convergent evolution. But it's like clearly there are precedents before the Cambrian explosion for the trilobite looking body plan.
yeah, and that's something I really wish creationists would just learn. Is the Cambrian explosion isn't the origin of life, like it all appears
Yeah,
at once. It
it's
is a period of very rapid diversity that occurs over 15 to 20 million years.
yeah, it's like we also have numerous other examples of like radiation events in history. like like we have
After every mass
radiations.
extinction.
Yes, like just shortly after that in the Ordovician, we have another radiation after the Cambrian. We've got a radiation event like the Cambrian explosion at the beginning of the Triassic period after the Permian extinction. It's like this is like, pretty well understood phenomenon, and also the fact that in the Ediacaran period, you didn't have any hard skeletons in order to fossilize. And then in the
Yeah,
Cambrian is the first time where organisms started to have hard skeletons, like exoskeletons. So then the fossil record would obviously increase definition dramatically. It's like this is not a huge, like we also see spikes in oxygen levels between the Ediacaran and the Cambrian period, which would also explain the rise of more organisms. It's like there's a lot
more and
of
larger organisms, yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of really good, straightforward, and reasonable explanations for why we see the Cambrian explosion exactly when we do.
Yeah. Oh, and we have $5 here from Logan Fisher. Here's for Grayson to buy some gloves, because you were without gloves for a bit.
No, okay. I had one glove on my hand, and then at some point, I went back to go get more trash bags. Oh, wait, here it is. Here it is. It's the same color as the trash bags. I was like, I can't find my freaking glove, and I just went without it. But I wasn't touching anything nasty. But now that I found my glove, it's perfect. I only have it on my right hand because I'm not touching anything with my left hand, and I need to like be able to touch my phone sometimes. So
Yeah. Oh, and
cool. Well,
also,
hey, I'm actually Logan. Thank you for that $5 super chat because I found my glove because of it. I thought that I misplaced it, and then your super chat made me go back and actually find my glove. It was just hiding.
nice, nice, nice.
Oh, look, we got a little in the middle. How did it even get here? At the top of this plant, we got a Chipotle thing. I could at the top. It's
That
like did this
must have
did this
gotten
rain
blown
from the
in.
sky? It's raining Chipotle.
And I have not had Chipotle in forever, and I kind of miss it.
Dang, well, maybe you need to move to a place where it rains Chipotle.
uh,
Like apparently San
I
Diego.
so I think in reference to it raining Chipotle, Optimus Rhymes 69 says
Okay.
for $5.
Okay.
Uh, oh hell yeah! I've been waiting for this since Nom.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but it made me laugh. So thank you. Wait, what
Um,
the heck is this? What? Oh, it's like a razor. Okay.
oh okay, careful there.
This is why gloves are important. Thank you, Logan Fisher.
Related to our prior conversation, Aprender Desenando brings up that there was a speedy radiation of synapsids
Oh
uh,
yeah.
towards the end of the Carboniferous and then into the Permian, if I
Oh,
recall.
it's even more than that, right? Because in
Mhm.
the at the like the transition into the Permian, you have a radiation of basal synapsids, and then later on during the Permian, you have a secondary radiation of therapsid
That's
synapsids. So
true.
you got
And the
two
thoracics go
radiations.
crazy.
Yeah, the therapsids totally took over and had their own radiation event after that.
And then into the Triassic, just all of Archosauria.
Yeah, the freaking pseudosuchians went
Like,
crazy with it.
I so I've been listening to a lecture series by a paleontologist named Tom Holtz here on YouTube.
Oh,
He's
Doc,
he's a
I've
very famous
also
paleontologist. Oh, good.
you shared that with me, and ever since you shared
Yeah.
that with me, I have also been going through Thomas Holt's lecture series on
Oh, hell
dinosaurs.
yeah!
And so I'm right now I made it up to his section on the hadrosaurs. So I'm on the duckbills.
You're already on Hadrosaurs. Wow, you've been
I
tearing
skipped
through it.
I skipped a lot of the basics. I kind of started with the Devonian period in his life history because I skipped like some of the stuff that he did on the basics.
That's fair. He had a lot of really interesting stuff about the history of paleontology.
I'm gonna go back and
So
I see that part
yeah,
because I definitely want to improve my paleontological history, but beyond just the Bone Wars and Big Bone Chief Marsh.
that's fair. He has a separate lecture. I think it was just a presentation he did about like the life of Charles Darwin,
Oh,
and there was a
yeah.
lot of fascinating stuff in there. Actually,
I mean, Doc, I don't know if you saw the Darwin Day stream that I did with Dr. Dan and Zach Hancock, but yeah, we
I
went
did not.
through some of the really funny parts about Charles Darwin's life history. And then after that, I actually went on a deep dive about the previous history of the HMS Beagle before Darwin came on board, and that gets really freaking crazy. Like they were just straight up kidnapping indigenous people and then like naming them the most ridiculous names. Like one guy, they
Mhm.
kidnapped this native guy in the Caribbean, and they said, "Okay, you're going to be our interpreter now, and your new name is Boat Memory." They named him
Okay.
Boat Memory, and then after they taught them English and they brought them back to England and then like showed them off like they were some sort of like museum exhibit, then they brought them back to the Caribbean and then they like just let them go back to their native people and then like they like got all their stuff stolen and then like either died or the British then came back and were like, he's gone native, he's gone insane. Why would he revert back to his native ways after we've civilized him? This brute. And it's like, dude, you kidnapped a guy and tried to name him Boat Memories, and then you're shocked when he doesn't want to go along with your program. I'm sorry, we just got on like the
I,
biggest
that,
tangent in the world, but
it's okay. I never heard any of that before. Um,
like the funniest story that I heard about Charles Darwin was, are you aware of his the dude was an absolute beetle fanatic. Like that was like
beetles
one of
and
his
pigeons.
biggest. Yes, well, and earthworms. But in his college days, beetles were his real first true love. And like he was cutting classes in medical school. He hated the sight of blood. He didn't want to do anything with his medical school classes, and instead he was going out like and then when he was training as as like a religious officiate at Cambridge, he was like skipping all his classes and spending his days in beetle hunting competitions with another weird beetle lover at Cambridge whose nickname was literally Beetle. And
Wow.
he got
Okay.
into a beetle hunting competition to see who could find the first new species of beetle. And the most hilarious story from Charles Darwin's autobiography is when he was beetle hunting and he had one rare beetle in each hand. Right? He's clutching a rare beetle in the right hand, clutching a rare beetle in the left, and then he like sees in the log in front of him a third beetle, a rare beetle that he's never even seen before, a new species of beetle. But he's already got his hands full with beetle. So, Doc, what do you think this genius, the progenitor of evolutionary theory, but again, in his early college days, what do you think he does in this
I'm
dilemma,
gonna
this
guess.
beetle dilemma?
I'm gonna guess he puts one in his mouth.
Yep, that's exactly right. He took one in one hand and plopped it into his mouth. And then he tried to get the third beetle, but the beetle that he put in his mouth released like a toxic substance that like made him start gagging and like he like freaked out and he ended up losing the beetle in his mouth and losing the third beetle as well.
Oh,
Yeah, like he was
well,
devastated.
it's funny how little biologists slash, well, I guess just naturalists have changed in the last 200 years.
Oh, hey, look at this. We've got a computer mainframe. Not
Ooh.
really, but it's some kind of various chip or something.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's tons of hilarious and like strange events in Charles Darwin's uh, life that are pretty funny.
There's a lot. He he really is one of the historical figures I would love to meet most and just have a conversation with.
Oh yeah. Um,
But
okay, sorry.
sorry,
What was the question? We got like super off track. I don't even remember the original question.
well, it wasn't an original question. I brought up Tom Holtz in his lecture series.
Oh,
Uh,
right, right,
be,
right.
well, because he brings up a good point when he's going over the Triassic radiation of dinosaurs,
Yeah.
where when we first split up the periods of Earth's history, we split them up according to significant changes we saw in the rock record. We didn't have the ages of these. We didn't know how long they were in time.
Mm-hmm.
We just knew they were probably millions of years. So the early Triassic, like the period that geologists call the early Triassic, takes up the first 5 million years. That's how much change occurs in 5 million years that
Dang.
early geologists considered it equivalent to the late Triassic.
But the only thing that creationists ever bring up is that 20 million years is too fast for something like the Cambrian explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And hey, look, it's starting to get sunny. You know,
That's good.
the clouds cleared up, and it's looking like a nice day. So it's nice being out here. It was a little cold when I first started, but now I'm feeling good.
Good.
And we're making some good progress. Oh no! No! My
You drop your
AirPod
grabber?
fell into the. Oh God! Look at that! My AirPod is in there. It fell into
Oh
the
no.
trash bag.
Oh no.
No! Oh, I feel like the stream is ruined. My AirPod is like, I am not putting this back in my ear.
Do you have
Oy.
another AirPod? Can you hear me?
I can hear you through one AirPod, and this one is going back into my pocket, and I'm gonna clean it when I get home. Cause yeah, yikes.
Oh Jesus.
I'm just glad, like, when I saw my AirPod literally fall out of my ear, like, and disappear into the gaping maw of this trash bag, I was like, well,
Oh.
that's gone forever. But
Oh
luckily,
no.
it fell into that little container.
So Grayson, Ivan's saying
Yeah,
he'll pay you $5 to put it back in your ear.
I am not doing that for $5. I'm sorry, Ivan. You have to pay me more than $5 to put that in my ear.
Let's say $20 or more to the Grable Museum.
uh, I don't know. Like, what is my ear purity worth?
I mean, you're gonna go home and shower after this anyway. At least I
Yeah.
hope so.
No, yeah, well, I am. Just for anybody that was curious, yes, I am not going to be going home and like getting into bed to wallow in all the filth out here.
Well, Well, while we're waiting on someone to test you on the dilemma of your ear purity, which new sentence unlocked, shall I show more of the museum?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well,
Oh, wait,
I
real
do.
quick. You know
Oh,
what is you know what has been my favorite thing that I've learned so far from Thomas Holtz's lecture series on dinosaur paleontology?
what's that?
I did not know that. Wait, actually, maybe you know this, so maybe I'll ask it to you and the chat. Chat and Doc, which animals have the most complex teeth in all of Earth's history of life? Complex in terms of the number and variety and structures of different tissue types
In teeth?
in their teeth. Yes. First,
I
actually,
want.
I changed this. Living and extinct. Like, give me the most complex teeth of living animals and the most complex teeth of extinct animals.
I would guess mammals, but I could be wrong.
For
I don't know. I
living
haven't got.
for living animals, yes, the most complex teeth are mammals. Look in the chat if anybody can guess correctly before I give it away. But for extinct animals, it is not a mammal.
Hmm.
The most complex teeth actually belong to a dinosaur, Doc. More complex than any other animal to ever live. And this was
Well,
according again to paleontologist Thomas Holt's lecture series.
well. So, are you talking about like the structure of an individual tooth, or the
Yeah,
structure of like the mouth?
individual teeth. An individual tooth, the most complex tooth
Huh.
in
Like
terms
I
of the
haven't got.
number and
I
variety and
guess.
structure of different tissue types.
I guess I haven't gotten there yet. I actually don't know.
I already gave you a hint earlier saying that I made it all the way up to the section on hadrosaurs. The answer is the hadrosaur teeth are the most complex teeth to ever be produced by evolution.
I mean, I know the way their jaws work is an absolute nightmare, but
Yeah,
I didn't know about the
but
teeth
their teeth.
themselves.
Yeah, no, that was so far my favorite little cool, interesting fact that I learned from that lecture series. And the current living animals that have the most complex teeth anatomy are it's like a tie between bison and horses.
Huh.
Yep,
Yeah, I had no
pretty
idea.
neat.
Oh,
So yeah, sorry, we can go back to the pictures from the Gray Bull Museum, which by the way, if you send in a super chat with GB, then we will be donating your super chat to the help the expansion of the Gray Bull Museum, bringing cool science and paleontology to all the little kiddos out there, and hopefully starting them on a lifelong passion for cool science.
yes, here's hoping.
Oh,
Also, if you just want to donate directly and you don't want YouTube to take a cut, feel free to just donate to their website. That's also linked in the description.
so I think in terms of working out the logistics, this might have to be the last trash bag here that I'm filling now, because I just got the notification from my AirPod, the sole remaining one that's left, telling me that it's almost out of batteries. So I'm not going to be able to
Oh dear.
hear soon. So I think we found out what was the first weak link to give in this whole streaming setup is apparently the AirPods.
Well, now we know.
Now we know for episode 2. And we need a silver Sharpie for episode 2.
Yes.
Um,
Uh,
so yeah, this will be
well,
the last one. I'm gonna keep trying to fill this one. You can share some photos if you want.
yeah, I will.
Cool.
So what's on screen now, folks? These are a set of paintings by Nellie Austin from Grable. So, like I said, there's not just fossils here. There's also history, historical artifacts. There's more modern pieces like these paintings. This one's showing that's probably a brontosaurus. This one's showing two wolves at a carcass.
You can mute me, Doc, if you're hearing all the trash noises and stuff.
Oh, you're fine. But there's a lot of other things too. Like here are things that were donated from people from Grable who were enlisted in World War I and II. So there's World War uniforms and memorabilia. Lots of old weapons, like ancient rifles.
Like as ancient as the dinosaurs?
Probably not quite that old. Um, old, or I keep saying old. But like record players from the late 1800s too. Stuff from the settlers who first settled the Grable area. And there's native artifacts too that have been donated by ranchers in the area and native tribe members. Some of these are probably thousands of years old. And yeah, as we've been saying, they've been doing their best to expand, to grow. And what's on screen now, besides a reflection of me in the glass, because again, I'm great at taking pictures, one of the things in this cabinet was donated by a friend of mine just a couple weeks ago.
What is the thing in the cabinet?
It is a huge chunk of petrified wood, bigger than my head. It is
That's sick.
it's a nice dark brown, but it's shot through with veins of sulfur. So it has
Ooh.
these yellow streaks running through it. It's really pretty in person. So, yeah, I'm just one of a few people who are trying to grow this museum, and be that by donating money or donating things for them to show and use to help teach people. By the way, also, please support your local museums. Kind of feel I should say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you
And
switching
now
back to my screen here?
yep, we're back to the trash
I'm
can.
in the mystery shrubs.
Oh dear.
I'm mystery shrubs right now. Hold on. I'm only using my right hand. Pick some gross trash. We're almost full with this trash bag right here. It's filling up. And look at that. I mean, almost all the trash is gone from here. We've got,
That looks way better than when you
making
started.
some headway over here, and then a lot of headway over here. Like
And
there's
it's
still
tilted up a
trash,
bit too high
obviously,
to
but
see.
yeah. Before, wait, oh, it's still too high. My bad. Is that
There we
better?
go. Now we can see. Yep.
Like this was literally completely covered with trash when we started.
Mhm.
This was all trash over here. So we made a good chunk. Looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trash bags full up. I don't even know what this device is. Any ideas?
I hold it up to the camera.
I thought it was. I thought I was.
Oh no. I have no idea.
Oh, it's labeled that they. Oh, it's some Xerox supplies or something. That seems like it'll be environmentally safe. But yeah, I think I'll just go
we
ahead
have
and get some bulk
we,
items here. Did you say that we have something?
yeah, we have 5 more memberships from Ian Tchaikovsky. So thank you, Ian.
Oh, dude, you mean
Or
Ivan?
Ivan. Jesus.
It's okay, Ivan. I got you. But thank you very much, man. Who are the new members?
Let us see if I can find the YouTube tab again. They went out to Errant, S. Cook, Coffee Breath, Kin, and Pitchroll. Oh, also, people are
Nice.
confirming in the chat it was an ink cartridge for big
Oh, well, that
Xerox
sounds
ink
real biodegradable.
things.
And I think maybe it could be a good idea for me to have like a recycling bag as well, but I didn't really think that one through all the way. But I think
Yeah,
actually,
that'd be
I
good for the
think
future.
let me check because I think at the waste management service that said that they could take care of this. I think that they might actually also have their own program for sorting the recycling. I need to double check that. In which case, it would make it a lot easier for me.
Right.
Because I'm just trying to get the bulk items now that I can just top off this trash bag with. Because, I mean, made a good chunk, but there's still plenty of trash at this spot.
Right.
All right. So this is trash bag number 8. This is going to be our final trash bag for the day. Pretty awesome. Doc, do we know what we're naming this trash bag? Do we know what the most recent highest super chat has been?
Do. Let's see, most recent one with the name. Well, we already did Made by Jim Bob.
Yep.
We have Turgipes, who gave us a bunch of fun names we could
That's
probably
true.
use.
His names have been my favorite so far. Not to play favorites, but I am.
Oh, speaking of super chats really quick, Ian has chimed in again to say, again, there is only one Ian.
Well, maybe if we keep calling everybody else Ian, then Ian will keep super chatting to say that. It's like an infinite money glitch.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, wow, look at that. There's some ketchup on the outside of this trash bag. I could just write the name in the ketchup.
Ugh.
Okay, what are we naming this last little bag of trash?
Let's see. We could name it Ian.
Oh, wow, I love it. Okay, you seeing this, Ian? There are now 2 Ians on this stream. There's Ian Chen and Ian Trash.
Ian Trash.
I love it. All right. Well, I'd say that this was a pretty dang successful first episode of Trash Talk. I will now be spending the little bit of the afternoon moving all these to my car and then taking them to a waste management facility. And I'm just going to back up here so that we can see the sort of progress that was made here at the spot.
Yeah, you'll
I
have
think
to
my
post
AirPod.
like a before and after screenshot later.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is like, we've got a little bit more street appeal. I mean, there's a little bit of trash that you can see, but compared to what it was when I first started, man, this feels really good. So I'm pretty happy. I thought we had some really cool and interesting conversations, and I think that this was a really fun and successful first episode. And I'm hoping that you all can join me again next week on Saturday, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern, for Trash Talk episode 2. Doc, do you want to let people know where they can find you, your channel?
Sure. Howdy, folks. I am. Oh, wait. $8 from Ian Chen Official. He said I'll pay that. I guess referring to getting his name on the trash bag.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm glad Ian.
Ian approved.
Dude, I fucking love Ian, man. He's awesome. Ian, shout out to Ian Chen or Ian Trash or whatever you're going by now. That's amazing.
All right. And then as for me, I am Dr. Dino, or Doc for short. You can find me on YouTube at Dr. Dino. I'm trying to do a lot more educational stuff now, just doing little videos talking about dinosaurs and science topics. I'm working on a bigger video right now about how things keep evolving into crocodiles for some reason. It's a weird phenomenon, but it
keeps happening.
Oh, and we also have a $10 super chat from Ivan saying Ian approved and Ivan approved as well.
Oh, wow. Dude, I need to start stoking this rivalry more often. Dude, you guys are both awesome. Ian and Ivan, there can only be one Ian and one Ivan in this stream. I'm sorry if you're another Ian or Ivan, but them's just the facts. There can only be one of each. Oh, look at that. Some brake fluid. That's exactly what you want to find in some shrubbery.
Well, that's all for me. Anything coming up on your channel, Grayson, you want to shout out?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've got plenty right now. Like I said, I've got creationists who are bugging me literally every time I upload a video, nearly every day, saying, oh, another video that Grayson has uploaded that isn't his response to Dr. James' tour. Yes, my response video for Dr. James' tour is coming out next week. Please be a little bit patient. It literally took James' tour 3 fucking years to respond to me about amyloids in the first place. So if you can just give me 1 week to respond to his 3-hour video, I would appreciate it, creationists, in my comment section. But for everybody else, I think that they're probably not rushing, and then they can be a little bit patient for 1 week, and that they're looking forward to the James tour video. So if that's you, it's coming out next week, and it should be pretty dang good. I'm going to be having some surprise guest cameos on that one that you're definitely going to want to check out. But yeah, thank you to everyone who made this first episode of Trash Talk so special, amazing. I'm going to remember this forever, and I love all of you that were here. Thank you so much, Doc, for allowing me to, do this. I literally would not have been able to do it without you. So thanks for making sure that it was all smooth and happening behind the scenes while my hands were busy. And yeah, I hope that everybody enjoyed this and that we can build from here and just keep going. Hopefully I can be consistent and do this every week on Saturdays. And yeah, just everyone that comes along with the journey, extremely, extremely grateful. Everyone that donated today, like, y'all make it happen. Y'all are amazing. And yeah, I can't wait to go back and visit you this summer and the Great Bull Museum, Doc. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. And one last super chat before we close out from Ian. Ian and Ivan are both John.
Okay, I literally cannot even think of a better way to end this stream than that. So until next week, everybody, I love you guys. Thank you so much for the 5K subscribers. It's only going to be better and better things from here. So thank you all so much and have a good rest of your day.
Adios. Ending stream.